Hello, all my beasties. How are we doing today? How are we doing? How is everybody? How is life? Everyone ready for the aneurysm? No, Darren, I have not. Darren, I have not pre-watched it. I stayed off of the internet and YouTube, and I told like 15 people to stop messaging me about it because I didn't I didn't want to ruin it. I didn't want to ruin the insanity for myself.
You don't want to ruin a perfectly good aneurysm. It's
Yeah, I didn't. It was it's been a day regardless. Um and my poor new neighbor is probably traumatized.
uh-oh.
So there's
What happened
that.
there?
It used to be an elderly couple and they ended up moving, which like whatever. And the housing market, it's pretty high to start with, um, but there's a major trauma center up the street from me.
Oh dear.
And well, no, there. So one of the two health networks has started to shift a lot of their. They've shifted a lot from their one campus to the one by me because the old building they're in is historic, so they can't change the footprint to go with like the time and things. So the housing market in my area is like crazy.
And
Uh,
sounds like it might be crazy cringe on top of that.
Um, yeah, and I mean it's not like bad, but I mean houses are going in 25 hours,
Yikes.
26 hours on the market. Actually, the house on either side of me sold, and I don't think either was on the market more than 23 hours, 24 hours. Um,
Posting to close? That would be,
oh,
yeah.
no, that you put, well, not to close, but like posted to sold and pending and all of this stuff. Um, Patty, they actually opened one of those. There used to be a long term care facility like back behind it, and they opened one of those like Malibu Promises style rehabs too. That's not part
Oh,
of the health network. It's privately owned, and you're not allowed to go there if you're court ordered or have a record. Like it's all yuppie, you know.
wow.
They won't like they don't lock people. Like if someone wants to leave, you can leave. They don't take insurance unless it's private insurance. You can't be court order, all of that. So it's
Uh,
just like insane housing market wise. But the houses sold and both of them have like teenager age kids, which no big deal. But there was this very loud crash. So the next thing the neighbors that just moved in like a week ago not even saw was me outside with a mag light and a firearm because I couldn't tell if it was someone trying to break the glass and into my into my finished downstairs or what. So I was outside doing a perimeter check, and all you saw was firearm and mag light. I came around the corner, and they were like, the look I got. Sorry, loud noise. And the kid was like, "Yeah, I dropped a trash can. Sorry, my bad."
oh, your poor neighbors. I'm going to go with Mr. As far as your question, MP, let me just highlight that here. I'm going to go with Mr. Beast on this one, which
Okay.
is this one right here.
Yeah, probably. I think we're all more at risk of me and myself having the aneurysm personally. But I mean, hey, I don't know. Why not? But yeah, a bunch of people were like, hey, have you seen this? And I was like, no, I'm intentionally not. You're going to lose your mind, probably. But it's
At
been
least you'll
pretty
still
far
have a mind
gone
to
already.
lose. That's the important bit. Because of
It's
all the things
already
that I have
pretty far
lost, I miss
gone.
my mind the most.
It's already pretty far gone. So, just saying. Oops. Um, yeah, I was just like, sorry, new neighbors. Not bad. But like, I'm outside in pajamas. Like, what are we doing? Like, and big giant mag light with a firearm doing the typical police thing.
I've done that to a couple of people. Scares the shit out of them every time.
Watching you, I've told you lost it a long time ago. I mean, we've had this discussion. I need like a lair sanity lost and found, but I think we'd all be chilling in it. So I don't
Well,
know.
that means that we'd all be found, wouldn't it?
Oh, I mean, I guess it would depend on your definition. So let's. I'm
I
gonna do
repeat
this.
myself from last time. I repeat myself from last time. They call these places sanitariums because that's where they keep the sane people that snap because they can't deal with the insanity of the rest of the world.
Or people that scream level up while being tased. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that guy was probably on some serious shit.
No, he's not. Bipolar,
Eek.
off his meds. Every time he goes off his meds.
Well, that sounds familiar.
He, um, a lot of his mannerisms are very Daryl Brooks.
Yikes.
I hate to say that. Yeah, but a lot of like the really bizarre arguments remind me of that. So, let me grab this video quick. Click, clip, quick. I don't know. I can't talk. Words don't work.
Which is
Words.
what I identified it as the first place there, Sanji. Loki, make sure that the lower left corner of our internal chat over here has your face on it as opposed to all or my squirrely goodness.
It says, "Oh, let me fix it." There we go. Now it's just me. Okay. I don't like staring at myself.
I forgot to let you know before we went live. Sorry.
Okay, let me find this for today while you guys talk amongst yourself. Anything interesting going on today, guys?
Words are hard sometimes, Brandon.
Words are always hard. So they
it's
did
actually
it all
when that guy's mouth gets ahead of his brain. You get all sorts of fun stuff out of that.
Please don't do this to me. I don't want to hear it. Don't start. I'm already in pain thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my question. Since apparently people have seen this already, everybody's just wait for my insanity. Who am I going to first? Like, I'm not doing 9 hours.
Well,
hey Arlo, good to see you.
They kicked off this morning with by putting the defendant on the stand.
Because that's always a great idea.
In this case, I think it might have actually, just like Kyle Rittenhouse, I think in this case it might have actually worked for him.
I don't know.
I got it very well prepped.
I got him. No, it's all good that you guys watched. I mean, Darren, as you saw last week, Mike was like, "Yeah, I missed all of that." No, I didn't catch the magical walking shell casings. No, I didn't catch that the body turned 90 degrees the wrong way.
Oh, they found a shell casing in one of the pictures that wasn't actually marked on the diagram that they put up last week.
Okay, but again, there was a scope ring under the dude's face.
Yeah, well, but that was at least tagged as they put a cone on that.
But they also put a cone next to the shell casing that was under a tote that was flush with the floor. So
no, this was actually under the bed by the guy's foot.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm just saying the rest of the stuff, like if that's your biggest worry, my guy, like no.
Where did it come from?
No. Yeah, no spoilers. I have no. I don't know. We're not gonna spoil this. I'm sure I'm gonna lose my mind as usual. Because why not? Okay, so what we're gonna do.
Watching you? Yeah, that I would not be surprised.
What?
Here, let me just grab that here.
Yeah, you just have to grab thing.
Yeah, there we go.
I can't see it yet. Hold on. His icon, yeah. His icon does like that.
That might have actually, I don't know. That might have actually happened.
Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Because if I remember correctly, there was a nice fat break in the middle there. But I'm firing blasters at aliens. There you go, Ardo. The thing is, he doesn't look like an extreme skier anymore. He's not got the build for it now.
He didn't look like an extreme skier in most of the pictures. He looked like a dude on meth.
Well, I didn't see him. I didn't see him in the pictures, in the pictures that I saw. So I didn't even know the case existed before.
Yeah, I
wanted to get a look at it.
Why do I have the circle of death?
That would be an internet issue.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So, all you lovelies, here we go.
Good morning. Is there any preliminary matters before we get started?
Are we going to screw up anything else today?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have any more Matlock surprise evidence? Do we?
There was a thing.
You know what I mean.
There was a thing during the prosecution side of the defendant that, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to hear about anyone's thing. I don't.
Okay.
I've seen enough of them. I'm good.
Good forever.
Bring
Huh?
him in, Loretta.
Oh, look, Admiralty Court. There's an eagle.
Sigh.
That's okay. I made Sov sit bingo, so. I'm just going to go with Sov sit bingo at some point. Okay, let's
We have to find a really good case for that, though.
Yeah, we're just going to do it every time Mike streams something
The
stupid.
defense calls Dean Cummings to the stand.
Mr. Cummings, come up here.
Really? We're doing this.
Hey, no more spoilers there, some old dude.
I mean, at least he got a haircut. Like, at least he doesn't still have, like, no hair on top and then, like, a shoulder length blonde mullet. Like half the pictures I've seen of him.
Well,
Because
he
that's
still looks
tragic
pretty good.
looking. Yeah, they cut off the mullet.
Actually, it looks like he might have been ponytailed.
You need that on yet or not?
Not.
No, I don't think he is. I lost my chapstick.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Dean Cummings.
And how old are you?
I'm 57.
And do you have any children?
I have 3 beautiful kids.
How old are they?
Who don't?
They're 9,
At
17,
this point, they
and
probably
19.
don't want to admit that
And
they're
where are
related
you
to
from?
you.
I'm from Alaska, Valdez, Alaska.
And did you grow up in Alaska?
I grew up in Los Alamos, New Mexico,
How long did you live?
That seems
in
a
New
bit
Mexico
different.
For?
until I was 23, 24 years old.
Okay. And where did you move to after you left New Mexico?
I moved to Valdez, Alaska.
And what were you doing in Valdez, Alaska?
I ran a heli skiing business, a guide service.
And what does that mean for those of us that aren't really into
I
skiing?
offered a trip, a helicopter skiing trip. People would book a trip from all over the world and fly into Valdez, Alaska. And we would take them out in helicopters into the mountains and ski them down mountains. And we'd do multiple runs a day. They would sign up for six to 8 runs a day. And I would book out 4 groups a week and then 1 private helicopter group.
How does a boy from Los Alamos, New Mexico, end up guiding heliski tours in Alaska?
I've been a skier my whole life. My dad taught me how to ski when I was in kindergarten, and I went on to make the U.S. ski team. And I found my calling in big mountains and backcountry skiing. I went up to Alaska in '91 and got 2nd place in the World Extreme
I
Sport
was 4.
Championships. And I had
5.
helicopter experience
5? Yeah,
from when I
5.
was a younger man. So I was asked by a helicopter company to start a heli ski business, so I did.
And so that's what you were doing in Alaska?
Exactly. I did other things too. I owned a small gravel pit, and I developed 50 acres of property as well. So I was involved with some
What
heavy
does this have
equipment
to do
in
with
the
the price of
summertime,
rice in
doing
China?
operations, and then doing helicopter skiing in the wintertime.
I don't care that you owned a gravel company.
And when did you
That's
leave
not particularly
Alaska?
relevant.
I left Alaska, and
They're trying to humanize him.
And where did you go?
I
I
don't
ended up
care.
putting an office into Wilson, Wyoming.
The jury might, but
Bookings,
no.
No, they won't.
Booking a booking office, basically.
Nobody's going to give
And
it.
did you stay in Wyoming?
I did. I was in Wyoming until 2020.
And where did you go then?
Then I came down here to New Mexico.
Then I went to
And
jail.
why did you come back to New Mexico?
I was looking at finding a place for the summertime and the early fall. I'd spend my winters in Alaska and the rest of the year in New Mexico.
Okay,
Looking
hold
for a
on.
piece of land.
Hold on. Okay, I'm already done. Wait, hold on. I just need to clarify this. Unlike every other person who lives where there's snow, who goes south because it's god awful and cold, and then runs from places like Arizona and New Mexico where it's like 116 a day, you decided to okay. I'm only questioning your life's judgment and like your sanity.
And what
Well,
were
he
you
grew
doing?
up in that environment, so I'm
Build a
I don't
house
sure he
care.
grew up
and start
there.
doing some hunting guiding. I'm
Some
an avid
old dude,
hunter.
you'll be
I
fine.
live subsistence in Alaska. I'd
like
hunt a moose every year and a mountain goat
some
every
old
year.
dude,
I put
I
away about 500
promise
pounds
we're
of
not
meat
doing a
every
whole
year
bunch
for
of
my
it.
family.
And trust me,
And so
this
you
will be
wanted to do
better
that here in New
because once I
Mexico?
get a
Yeah,
little bit of a feel
I
from
really
him,
enjoy hunting. I'm
is
pretty good at it,
everybody will
and,
tell you
there's a good market for it here in New Mexico.
I fast forward
And
because
where
I
were you
just
looking
don't
at
care.
properties?
I was
I'm
looking,
not a lawyer, so
in
I'm
the
not
Arroyo Largo
here
Canyon, which is
to
basically everything from
listen
San
to
Ysidro
legal
all the way to
arguments.
Farmington. I was looking
I
for
just
property
like
in that area.
destroying
There's
the
just an
fact that
incredible amount of
people
wildlife and
apparently
game
think they're
in
firearms
those areas,
experts
the Camazon
thanks to
area
CSI
and the
Miami and
Largo
staying at a
Canyon area.
Holiday Inn.
And how did you first meet Guillermo Arreola?
Okay, I'm done listening to
Mentions
you
that he
talk.
started talking to you about problems he had with his neighbors.
Yeah, he started talking about.
Okay, if anybody has like a timestamp, someone let me know. If we have timestamps, anybody? If you have timestamps where we get to things that are actually, relevant, unlike I'm an idiot who goes to where the 117-degree weather is, and then I pick an area that's so cold that I have to be flown in and out because I'm a moron. Like you can go to Vail, Colorado. I can think of lots of
More temperate spaces.
that you can still ski in. Or at least like reasonable temperatures, not like 117 degrees. How does the one still not have a hairbrush?
Oh, she forgot it in her other
This
bathroom.
one right here, I can see your hair extension that you curled, but didn't brush the rest of it. And I'm going to need you to do something other than like curl one of your tracks of extensions. And no, I have nothing against extensions. My hair is elbow length thanks to mine. But at least I brush dry and, do something. Oh, yes, record time. Squirrel, it's a record. Porn bots in like,
yo.
yes,
All right.
record.
Your ass is blocked. Wow, that was a new one. I haven't seen that. Wow, we haven't even been on 20 minutes. What the hell? What is up with that? Okay, thou art now blocked, dumbass.
Michael, I know I saw you in the chat. I need to email you back. I got through reading it, but I need to write you back. And I have a few counterpoints to one of
All right,
yours
so
I
Mr.
want
Cummings,
to talk
you
to
were
you about.
saying that Mr. Arreola
But I wanted
had
to let you know I did
started to
see it
confide in
because I
confide in
take
you
pride
about some
in
problems he
getting
had with
better,
his
like
neighbors.
getting back to my people.
Specifically, did
I
he
take pride,
tell you
as
about
Patty
an
and people can
incident where
tell
he
you,
attacked a car with
about
a hammer?
knowing my
He
members.
did. He told me he had scared the heck out of
Yeah,
somebody.
Michael, we can. I'm just saying in
I,
general. I just wanted to let you know that I see you in the chat and I saw your email. Not that I'm going to answer it now.
I don't know if we should
But
be doing
just
this,
in
but
general.
court, but you just said you
Okay.
could testify to this incident.
Let's see what this question was.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
thank
some
you.
old dude I'm going to.
Mr.
I
Cummings,
am.
did Mr.
I'm a
Arreola tell
firearms
you about an
expert,
incident where
so
he attacked a car
it's
with a
literally
hammer?
what I do.
He did. He told me he scared the heck out of a guy that had pulled into their driveway.
And
the
I
neighbor's
scared my new
driveway,
neighbors in my
and,
pajamas.
he had beat on
So
the top of the car, and the guy
how
was
is
scared to
that?
death.
And how did that make you feel when you heard about that?
I don't care
He
about your
shared a few more
feelings.
incidents than that.
I
And
really
how did it
don't.
make you feel when you heard about that incident?
I had a red flag go up.
Okay, we're getting
Do you
somewhere. Good.
recognize what's depicted in this photo?
I do.
Oh
What is
God,
that?
it's the magical mystical
It's a
pepper
propane
spray.
heater on its side. It looks like it either fell off or somehow tumbled off the side there.
And where is that propane heater?
That's in the
Michael,
back
I
bedroom.
don't know. I intentionally did not watch it. I intentionally
Is it supposed
have
to be
not.
Sitting on the floor like that?
I've
If
stayed.
I recall, it was hanging on the wall. I think there's
If
a
it's sitting
hanger
like
just
that, you're going to
outside
give
of this
yourself
photograph
carbon
where it was supposed to be
monoxide
hanging.
poisoning. So no. No, the answer to the question is no. That's not what we do.
I'm guessing because we got into
Darren, because I heard
one of us bumped
very
into it.
loud noise outside and ran outside
Show you
in
what's
my
been marked as State's
pajamas with a
Exhibit
firearm and a
75.
mag light to clear my property and my
Do
residence.
you recognize what's depicted in that
And my
photo?
I do.
neighbors
It's
of like
some
less
propane
than
bottles.
a week
Where are those
came around
propane bottles?
a
They're
corner
just
to
on
see
the outside of the
me
back
in my
bedroom where
pajamas
the altercation occurred.
with a firearm and mag light because they dropped a garbage can.
So now you testified that you woke up in the middle of the night and you smelled propane.
No
Yeah, I
shit,
did.
Sherlock. If it's on its
Uh,
side, you will. Hence my
And that
comment on
concerned you?
carbon
did.
monoxide
I
poisoning.
wasn't-
Okay,
The smell was
great.
really bad. It woke me up basically, and I got up and I was trying to figure out where it was coming from. I checked the stove, but the
Okay.
stove wasn't turned on.
We are going to opine for 1 minute. You did not smell propane. It doesn't have one. What you smelled is an additive that's put into it to give you a warning that there's gas leaking somewhere. It
They do
smells
that
like
with natural
rotten
gas.
eggs.
Both forms of natural gas, I think.
It has to by law be an all natural gas and propane tanks that are over a certain size because fire department and carbon monoxide reasons. But in incomplete combustion, you have it on its side, you have incomplete combustion carbon monoxide. So no crap.
on. And at that point, I just went to my trailer because it smelled so bad.
Nobody light a match.
And
In
when
there.
did you
Anytime
see
soon.
Mr. Areola next?
I slept in. He showed up around, I don't know what time exactly.
Why?
It was 1:30 or 2
I
o'clock.
don't care.
And he pulled into the property in his truck.
Ardo,
And where were you when
thank
he
you.
pulled in?
Yeah, like,
I was
subscribe,
in
do
my
the
fifth wheel
YouTubey things,
trailer. I stepped outside when I saw him
share
pull
it
up.
out.
And what did you do?
Click
Come
the bell.
I
join.
just went to greet him. and,
Come join.
We greeted each other just
Come
outside
join.
the gate where my fifth wheel RV was
Come be a
parked.
beastie.
Did you notice anything about his demeanor at that point?
It was definitely a little bit different than the other times I had met up with him. He was kind of short with me, and he kind of had a scowl above his eyes. He seemed to be in a bad mood, is what I thought. He just wasn't in a good mood or something.
So after you
The
greeted
fact that
him,
you have that mask on tight enough that
He
you
went
look
over to
like
his
somebody
trailer.
left you in
I
a
went back
test
into
tube
my
too
fifth
long
wheel,
is putting me in a
and,
bad mood.
He was moving stuff from his truck to inside the trailer. He had brought a
You
bunch
look
of
like the
a bunch
dude
of
in Fish
groceries
Tank.
and was
It would
moving stuff
probably
into the
be better
trailer.
if he weren't
what
hypercephalic.
did you do at that time?
So I wanted to have a conversation with him about the problem. And
I'm
I
just
was thinking that falling through, but I didn't
your
want it to
nose,
communicate.
dude. In your
And so I
nose.
went over to the trailer.
And besides,
and
it's
went on
under the tip of
inside,
your
and he
nose,
was
so
in
it's
the
not really
kitchen
doing anything. So let's
unloading
just either
groceries.
take it off and put it on the right way, okay?
And what happened when you went inside?
You're
the kitchen?
irritating me.
I started talking to him about the trailer and about getting someone to look at the agreement. And
I
he
want
was
someone
kinda
to look at the
standoffish
agreement. You
more
seem
than
really
I'd
pissed
ever
off and
seen him.
standoffish. So I'm going to go take the
Behaving differently
person.
for sure. And we
Okay,
started
bye,
talking
Cookie. I
about
miss
it,
you.
and it started getting kind of heated.
I will miss you,
So
Cookie.
I could tell that our conversation wasn't getting much better at the time.
I'm gonna Patty. You
So
might
I
as well be
wasn't sure what to
snorting
do, but,
coke because it's
I was just
complete.
trying to
I can see
communicate.
your nose holes.
And how long were you talking? to
Literally
him for?
doing nothing.
Probably about 10 minutes, 8 minutes to 10 minutes.
And
Okay,
when you were speaking with him, did
look.
Even if it never gets put up,
She's trying to establish
put it
the.
from handed down from my family.
I think she was actually trying to establish the way everything got started.
I don't care. I don't care. That's not. Oh, and of course I bumped this.
That's too
stupid
far
ass.
anyway.
Fully in a rage.
Yeah, I know. I'll get back to the idiot. To the right
I
part.
didn't actually see this part,
What?
so I didn't see this part. I
Well,
saw
no, I'm just going back.
cross.
I bumped it
Oh,
like on my. I just bumped my mouse.
yeah, that'll probably work right there.
we'll go forward from here.
Eric,
is.
There we go.
Eric,
Okay, but like I was saying, I have questions. So here's my question, okay? Well, A, if I can see your nose holes, we need to like readjust. And if it's smashing your nose like someone left you in a test tube too long, maybe we need a different size. But I mean, okay, that's a choice. We're going to go with it. That's a choice, but that's not my question. My question, sir, I need to know. Like, I just want to know why, when you're like, I've never seen him like this ever. And that day, he was really agitated and like standing on top of things and screaming and not acting like his normal self. So I thought it was a good time to discuss a contract dispute. I'm already questioning your judgment, sir.
Patty, to answer your question, I'm pretty sure that's just a fringe back there and let the back grow out.
He had a mullet. He had like shoulder length blonde mullet. But yeah, TB, there's a reason I said like ever, like in dumbass. Because if you know someone has a psych history or a substance use history or anything, and you're like, wait, they're acting totally out of character, you decided that it was the appropriate time to have a discussion about a contract dispute. I already have questions about. Okay. And by the way, Muffin Rando, I have a friend who every time they're being condescending talking to someone goes, "It's okay, Muffin, you can admit you're wrong." Instead of like sweetheart, they refer to everyone as Muffin. And she's like, "It's okay, Muffin, you can just admit you're wrong and move on." And so I just saw your screen name and laughed. But sir, you're an idiot already.
Okay. If I might make a statement here just for a second.
The lower bunk bed or the upper bunk bed?
I slept on the lower bunk
I
bed.
have killed the whole inappropriate comments for the time being. Please don't abuse it, beasties. Thank you.
Looker's right.
Can I ask you to put it on the right goddamn way? You're an idiot.
Okay, so now we have the photo up. Which bed did you sleep on?
The one to Looker's right with the blue mattress, and showing the mattress under the blanket.
And you see that other bed in the back with the boot box on it. Did you ever sleep on that bed?
I didn't.
And we've heard evidence that there was actually a rifle wedged between the mattress and the box springs of that bed. Were you aware that rifle was there?
I never did see it. I didn't know it was in there.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the story, The Princess and the Pea? Because I'm pretty sure a rifle would be real uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Especially when you're
Did you
talking
see
about
Mr.
a cheap
Ariola
ass
again
inner
after
spring
that
mattress.
evening of drinking out at the ranch?
Yeah, we met up another time to go horseback riding.
Tell me about that.
We met out at the ranch again. We had scheduled a time to meet up.
I am.
And he was going to give me one of the horses that was on the ranch with the purchase of the property. So I really wanted to know how everything worked, where the saddle was, where all the bridles were. And he was more than happy to show me everything. He really enjoyed being around horses. I could tell right away. So we saddled
So do
up the horses
5-year-old
and we rode
girls.
up the dirt road, probably a couple miles up the dirt road and into a small canyon and then rode back. It was kind of a short ride. But the horse was a great horse. I really enjoyed getting to know that horse. It was perfect.
Yeah,
for me
Darren,
to
I
have
know
a
he said he
horse out
never
there.
slept on it,
One that
but
was as big as strong
he
as the one
said
that
he
was out
slept
there.
on the top
And
bunk
how did the two of you get along
Bottom
during this
bunk.
horseback ride?
or
We
bottom
got
bunk,
along just
whatever.
fine.
But you're still
Did you
most
see Mr.
likely.
Ariola again after that?
Here's the thing.
I
Okay,
did.
so here's where I start having weird questions. Because as we all know, I notoriously pick up weird things and I miss fairly little detail wise, I usually think. But here's the thing. He's fairly tall from what I've seen. And when I say fairly, I mean about 5'7". I don't know exactly how tall. If you sit, you're not going to sit up on a bunk bed and put your shoes and stuff on. You'll hit your head. He would have
Yeah,
sat.
you
He
bent
might.
over.
He might not have slept on it, but I'm sure he sat on it to put his shoes off and on. I mean, anyone kid that went to summer camp can tell you that. I mean, and even so, the rifle that we saw is fairly large. You would see the gap or a giant hump. So you're not going to tell me that there was a whole ass rifle there and you didn't notice a bump on the mattress, or you never sat on it and didn't like how that felt. I'm just gonna point. Okay. So telling me I didn't know it exists, I'm already calling BS on that. Ardo, hold on. Ardo, everybody here in the lair are amazing. And I'm happy I have 17. And I would love for you guys to like, subscribe, share, bring more people over here to the lair. Come have fun with us. Like I always say, I take pride in talking to as many of my beasties as I can. I answer every email, Instagram message, tweet. Everybody can tell you. I make a point about it. So, come be a beastie. Come have fun with us.
But that was the big day.
Did you ever meet with him at his office in Placitas?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I sure did. We had scheduled a time to meet in Placitas where he had his realtor.
And if somebody at some point has timestamps, we can always.
In Placitas, and then we scheduled a time where I could go meet the realtor and see the contract.
And did you meet up with him?
I did. It was hard to find because I didn't know it was a
Happy birthday,
trailer that
Ardo.
He was in a camping trailer, and I was looking for an office space. So I showed up on time, but I couldn't find exactly where they were at. And I finally called him up on the cell phone, and he walked me into where I could go into this gated area and go into where this little camper was.
And at that point in time, during the meeting, did you have a chance to review the contract?
I did. I looked at the contract. It was pretty lengthy. I read it from
most real estate contracts are.
And the attorney was, Guillermo was there, and so was the realtor.
Did the realtor become irritated with you?
She definitely was short with me. She was pushing me to sign the agreement, and I wasn't ready to do so. I needed somebody to look at it. Some of the language in the contract was beyond my scope of law and realty.
You have a scope of law?
Contract with you?
Where?
I did. I asked them if I could take the contract
I
to
want
an
one.
attorney or to a realtor. And she
Michael, I already,
responded back to me
yeah,
that
I mean, like
she
I said,
can't
what does
do
that have to do
or
with the
she could
price
lose
of
her
rice in
realty
China?
license.
So what happened
I
after
get
that
they're
meeting?
trying to lay a foundation.
That was
This
a
is
pretty
just
big red
stupid.
flag. Guillermo didn't really speak up in the meeting. I could tell that Guillermo was a little bit bugged with his realtor.
Ardo,
because
I
she
don't know when
wasn't
exactly your
really being
birthday was,
very,
but a happy
open with the
birthday from
agreement.
me.
And I just ended the meeting right then and there. It was a waste of time at that point. I needed to be able to convince Guillermo that I needed an attorney or a realtor to look at the contract. He seemed a little bit bugged with his attorney, with his realtor too.
So did you leave that meeting without signing the contract?
I did. I left without signing the contract.
Were you still interested in buying the property?
Oh, yeah, I definitely was.
And did you speak with Mr. Ariola again after that meeting?
Yeah, we had another phone conversation, and he apologized for what had happened. And I asked him if there was another realtor
Sim,
we
this
could
is the
work
first
with,
time
or
today
how we
I
could
am
work with
seeing
the
any
realtor
of
that he
this.
had.
Hi, TB.
And did you,
Yeah, Sim, I
did the two of you
intentionally
reach an
did
agreement, or
not
was it
watch
still open for
any
discussion?
of it.
It was a vague conversation. He didn't go very far into meeting up again
I
with the
did not
realtor or
watch
finding
any
another
of it
realtor.
because I didn't want spoilers.
So it was open-ended at that point.
Did you
I
return
try
to the
to
property at
to
some point?
keep
I
myself
did.
genuine.
I went back to the property to stay out there again.
Were you still hoping to purchase the land?
Absolutely.
Was Mr. Ariola there when you arrived?
No, I got there late one night
Okay.
around 10, 11 o'clock.
I don't
and,
care about you.
Nobody was there. So
I
put
got
on
to the
a
house at
movie
11
watched a
o'clock, and
movie
I
inside
don't
the-
know why he didn't want
He
to
never
discuss
did. I
real
kept
estate
blocking him with my
contract
left
law in the
hand.
middle of freaking night.
And so after you're on the floor, what happened next?
Ardo, my
I was doing
birthday
a
is
crab
coming up
walk kind
too,
of thing,
so
trying to get my feet
happy
under
birthday,
me.
happy
I got back up
birthday.
to my
My
feet,
best
or
friend's
almost back
birthday
up to my
was
feet.
2
And he
days
came
ago.
running down the hallway and hit me again. I fell into the
Yeah,
very
Michael,
entrance of the small bathroom.
if you
I was kind
happen
of in
to
the door
know,
jam
the
with my
muffin says
my
it's
legs were in the
starting
hallway,
soon.
but my upper body
Yeah, I'm
was in
trying
the
to get to
door
something
jam of the bathroom.
substantive. That's why I keep
He was all
like
over me at this
fast
point. He's
forwarding,
swinging as hard as you could swing.
but
I'm
I don't want to
blocking as much as I
go.
can. I've got the rifle by the
I
barrel, and he's trying to grab the barrel and trying to grab the rifle out of my
okay,
hand.
wait.
I knew I couldn't let go of that
I've
thing for
jumped
the
the
life of
shark
me.
here apparently.
Told me
Yes,
that he used
the shark has
cocaine or
been
tried
jumped.
to share it with me and the attorney was Guillermo was there, and so was the realtor.
Did the realtor become irritated with you?
She definitely was short with me. She was pushing me to sign the agreement, and I wasn't ready to do so. I needed somebody to look at it. It was some of the language in the contract was beyond my scope of law and realty.
Did you ask to take that contract with you?
I did. I asked them if I could take the contract to an attorney or to a realtor.
No, Michael, I know
And
you
she,
didn't mean me. I
responded
just
back to
mean
me
in
that she
I
can't do
just
that, or she
meant.
could lose her realty license.
So what happened after that
Hi,
meeting?
Tom.
That was a pretty
Squirrel.
big red flag. Guillermo didn't really
Yeah, Tom.
speak up in the meeting. I could tell that Guillermo was a little bit bugged with his realtor because she wasn't really being very
They don't see Tom
open
Tom.
with the
Oh,
agreement.
there you are.
And I just ended the meeting right then and there. It was a waste of time at that point. I needed to be
The
able
link
to
for
convince Guillermo that I
for the
needed an
layout, they
attorney
should
or a
work.
realtor to look at the contract. He was a little bit bugged with
me
his
just- let me
attorney,
check
his
it.
realtor too.
Sig, you're right. The
So
eyes do
did
a
you
little bit.
leave that
The
meeting
eyes and the
without signing
hairline.
contract?
I did. I left without signing the contract.
Were you still interested in buying the property?
Oh yeah, I definitely was.
And did you speak with Mr. Ariola again after that meeting?
Yeah, we had another phone conversation, and he apologized for what had happened. And I asked him if there was another realtor we could work with, or how we could work with the realtor that he had.
And did the two of you reach an agreement, or was it still open for discussion?
Squirrel, you're
It
gonna
was
have
a
to
vague conversation. He
mute
didn't
yourself.
go very
I
far
can hear the
into
dog
meeting up again with a realtor or finding another
and
realtor.
squeaking.
So it was open-ended at that point.
Did you return to the property at some point?
I did.
Yeah, at
I
11
went
o'clock
back to
at
the
night, and
property to
nobody.
stay out there.
Nobody. Do you have a
Again.
timestamp? Some
Were
old
you still
dude or
hoping to
muffin?
purchase the land?
Absolutely.
Was Mr. Ariola there when you arrived?
If someone
No,
gives
I
me a
got there late
timestamp, I'll
one night
move to
around
that.
10, 11
But I want to
o'clock,
hear about
and,
him and this rifle
nobody
real
was
quick.
there. So I put on a movie and watched a movie inside the trailer.
And what happened that evening?
I fell asleep in front of the TV, and then in the middle of the night, I woke up and I smelled a propane smell in the trailer, which concerned me
Why would that concern you?
because propane is flammable.
I'd be more worried about carbon monoxide poisoning, but
Now,
okay.
You said
You do
that
you, boo.
Mr. Ariola had spent a lot of time showing you the property and how it worked. How was this trailer heated?
With a wood fireplace.
What else did they use to heat it?
They had a small propane heater in the back bedroom, and he had a couple bottles on the back of the trailer that were propane bottles.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 61. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photo?
I do.
What is that?
It's a propane heater on its side. It looks like it either fell off or somehow tumbled off to the side there.
And where is
Okay,
that
link should
propane
work
heater?
now.
That's in the back bedroom.
My
Is that
caps.
propane heater supposed to be sitting on the floor like that?
If I recall,
No,
it was hanging
dipshit,
on the
it
wall. I
causes
think there's a
carbon
hanger
monoxide
just
poisoning.
outside of this
Next.
photograph where it was supposed to be hanging.
Okay. Do you know how it got on the floor?
I'm guessing because we got into a altercation that one of us bumped into it.
Show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 75. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photo?
I do. There's some propane bottles.
Where are those propane bottles?
They're just on the outside of the back bedroom where the altercation occurred.
So now you testified that you woke up in the middle of the night and you smelled propane.
Yeah, I did.
And that concerned you?
It did. Wasn't. The smell was really bad. It woke me up basically. And I
Yes,
got up
again,
and was
it's an
trying to figure out where
additive
it
that's
was coming
akin to
from. I checked the
sulfur.
stove, but the stove wasn't turned on.
You said it might be
And at that
sulfur,
point, I just went to my trailer because it smelled so
or
bad.
I think it's actually sulfur dioxide.
Yeah, it depends.
Don't quote me on that.
And when did you see Mr. Areola next?
I slept in. He showed up around, I don't know what time exactly it was, 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and he pulled into the property in his truck.
And where were you when he?
Your mask is,
I was in my fifth wheel
sir.
trailer. I stepped outside when I saw him pull up.
And what did you do?
I just went to greet him, and we greeted each other just outside the gate where my fifth wheel RV was parked.
Did you notice anything about his demeanor at that point?
It was definitely a little bit different than the other times I had met up with him.
Yeah,
He was kinda short
Mercaptine.
with me, and he kind of had a scowl above his eyes. He seemed to be in a bad mood, is what I thought. He just wasn't in a good mood.
He was in a bad mood, so I decided it was a good time to ask him about a contract. He seemed real agitated. I've never seen him like that. So I'm going to ask him and pick a fight. My dude. Again. I can't with you.
Or something.
So after you greeted him, what happened?
He went over to his trailer. I went back into my fifth wheel, and he was moving stuff from his truck to inside the trailer. He had brought a bunch of groceries and was moving stuff into the trailer.
So what did you do at that time?
So I wanted to have a conversation with him about the purchase of the property, and I was thinking things were falling through, but I really wanted to communicate with him to see if we could work a deal. And so I went over to the trailer and went on inside, and he was in the kitchen unloading groceries.
And what happened when you went inside the kitchen?
I started talking to him about the trailer and about
I
getting
can't.
someone to look at the.
I can't with this, dude. A, fix your mask. You look like someone left you in the test tube too long, like in Futurama. Okay?
He does better at later.
I'm gonna need you to fix that mask because you look stupid. And there's no point if I can see your nose holes. And two, if somebody's that agitated, why would you be like, this seems like a great day to discuss a contentious contract?
Okay, Muffin says 1 hour 45 minutes, probably for the beginning of Cross, which is where
Okay.
shit gets really interesting.
I will get there in 1 second. I want to hear him about trying to grab a rifle that he was talking
agreement,
about real quick.
And he was kind of standoffish more than I'd ever seen him.
And B,
behaving
it's going
differently
on
for
right
sure.
now.
And we started talking about it, and it started getting kind of heated. So I could tell that our conversation wasn't getting much better at the time. So I wasn't
Did
sure
I
what to
not
do,
just
but,
point this?
I was just trying to communicate.
And how long were you talking to him for?
Probably about 10 minutes, 8 minutes to 10 minutes.
Okay, you talking for 8 minutes would make
And when
me
you were speaking
homicidal
with him,
too.
did he appear intoxicated?
He kind of did.
Oh, he seemed
I didn't get
intoxicated
very
or like
close
he
to
could
him. I
have
couldn't
carbon
smell
monoxide
anything at the time,
poisoning.
but he definitely seemed intoxicated a little bit. I wasn't sure if he had been drinking or been smoking some weed or something.
And we've heard testimony in this trial that Mr. Ariola was on cocaine.
Wait. What? Wait, what? What? Did I hear him right?
What?
Did I hear this man right?
Defense counsel just said was trying to say he was on cocaine.
I'm not worried about that part right now. You go back, okay, and listen to him. And I'm not going to rewind it because I don't have time for these people right now. They annoy me. And I want to pound my head off a wall listening to you talk. But you just said it smelled bad like propane. You know what else happens? Like the number one sign that you have carbon monoxide poisoning, like before the cherry red lips thing, is agitation, a headache, all of those things. And you just sat here and opined about the smell and the gas. And then you're like, well, I didn't know if he's drunk or maybe he's on drugs. Nobody bothered to be like, did y'all consider that you could have had carbon monoxide poisoning causing an altered mental status? You spent like 20 minutes talking about stupid ass propane tanks and a heater that's on its side. But we're not going to address that the number one thing you get with carbon monoxide or gas exposures is headache, agitation. Oh, it could have been drunk or could have been cocaine. Okay. Okay, Karen.
At the time of his death. Were you aware that he used cocaine?
No, he never shared that with me. He never told me that he used cocaine or tried to share it with me when we were drinking.
And so you're having this conversation and it starts to get heated. What happened next?
So he gets a pretty bad scowl above his eyes. You could tell he was getting pissed off. And
I continued to keep going.
I was getting a little anxious too myself. I just really wanted to get the deal done and get the contract.
I just wanted to get it done. I wanted to get it over with. He was scowling and being unusually aggressive, and I had a bad headache and was starting to not feel well too.
And he's getting a little anxious. Yeah, carbon monoxide.
Or
carbon dioxide.
No, it's carbon. It would have been carbon monoxide from incomplete combustion, but just where? Make it make sense. That the first place you go to is, well, he had cocaine in his system. Okay, but are you going to call the medical examiner back to the stand to discuss the fact that unless you use mass spectroscopy, you can't tell if it was a metabolite of cocaine or if he was currently using it or used it 30 days ago? Like, how is this where you go first? And you're having a whole ass dissertation about a propane tank and the smell. But when you're listing off every classic sign of carbon, oh, Jesus Christ.
Looked at by an attorney. I started calling him out. I was calling him out saying, look, are you trying to scam me on this deal or what's your problem? I kind of maybe went one.
Muffin Rando, hold on. Pull that comment up. I want to answer it really quick. Muffin Rando, actually not true. So here's the thing. A pulse oximeter, right? So the not to be too much of a nerd, but we all know I am a stickler for detail. a pulse oximeter cannot tell the difference between oxygen and carbon monoxide. The only way you can do it is with something called a RAD 57 that fire departments and EMS and the hospital have, but they have to be very tightly regulated and calibrated because it's easy to throw the rads off. But we use them in the field, like at the fire department. I used to use it all the time. And you have to be, they even give you a glove to put over the person's hand because the RAD 57, you can't have any extra light. It needs to be totally dark over the probe because the reason carbon monoxide does what it does and the reason oxygen fixes is it has a greater affinity for hemoglobin than oxygen. So the carbon monoxide displaces the oxygen bound to the hemoglobin in red blood cells and has a tighter bond. So, in order to displace it, you need a higher level of oxygen. But because of that, SIM, you can still have gas. You don't know. He said he checked to see his stove was on, but I'm just saying in general, like, if you're going to sit here, like a regular pulse ox won't tell you it, and no, you'll be agitated for hours with a fairly low amount of carbon monoxide, not enough to, not enough to cause you to pass out. Carbon monoxide typically comes from the incomplete combustion. But even if it wasn't running, you'll still get a headache from the gas and you can still have stuff. So, it's not that the burnt not the raw, it's just incomplete combustion of gas. But any of those gases will give you a headache and that make you agitated. So if it's enough that you're sitting here commenting on it, I'm gonna sit here and, pick apart your medical argument that you're going to say he was agitated and possibly on cocaine when there's a legitimate medical concern. Okay, so we're going to go to 145 because I can't with stupid with this dude. Wait, do we want to see where this shit's trashed? I don't care. We're going to go to 145. I don't care about their unbrushed hair. I don't care. You all, I don't. Is she wearing a muumuu? Like, what are we wearing?
Allegedly had with Mr. Guillermo Ariola about how he struck someone's car with a hammer.
Yeah,
Weren't you laughing during that conversation?
I didn't find it funny.
But you were laughing with him.
No, I was not.
Was he laughing?
He wasn't laughing. He was serious about what he was talking about. He showed
Okay.
us. He showed
Thank
us.
you. No, you've answered the question. Thank you.
Yes or no answers. It's not hard. Don't opine.
You can do it on redirect.
Right, TB, that's what I'm saying. You're literally sitting here
Do you know if Mr. Ariola had a diesel truck?
going on and
I'm
on
not
about
sure if it was
headaches
gas
and
or diesel.
gas and this or that.
But he didn't surprise you when he came out. I mean,
Yeah,
But
I didn't
now
expect
is
him to
when I'm
show
gonna
up. He hadn't showed up for a lot of weekends
argue.
that I had stayed out there.
okay, but he didn't come in to startle you, did he?
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect him to show up.
Okay, but he didn't startle you, did he?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? Did he startle
He did
you?
startle me. I knew I had stuff in the
Yes or
house
no?
that I needed to get out of there. So I was startled because I didn't want to have my rifle in the house when he showed up. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh no, it's close, Muffin. You're good.
Mm-hmm. And this incident about you supposedly had with him when you first met
No, you're all good,
Mr.
Muffin. I
Ariola, that
appreciate
he
it.
was drunk and falling off his horse.
I never said falling off his horse.
Almost falling?
I didn't say that either.
Well, okay, well, that's what I heard.
He was running alongside his horse. His horse was taking him for a little bit of a ride. He just couldn't get back up on the horse because he was intoxicated.
Okay. And that obviously didn't stop you from hanging out with him or trying to buy land from him, correct?
Or
I
picking
still
a
wanted
fight
the
with him when
land.
everybody
I still
was
wanted the land.
agitated.
Sir, could you please listen to my question
I did.
and answer yes or no, unless I ask for an explanation, all right? Do you understand?
I understand.
But you do admit that you and Mr. Audio got along, right?
Rittenhouse
right?
is at least
did. We got
decent when he
along just
You drank
testified.
together, yes?
Yes.
Oh my God, I would object.
That-
Question, and now she's interrupting me. If she asks a question, she should let him answer it.
And I would ask the court to instruct the witness
Oh, for the
to
love of
answer my
fuck.
question appropriately and not be non-responsive, as I just instructed him.
Hold on, Counselor. She asked a question, just answer yes or no, but let him finish the answer.
Okay.
Go on, continue.
And Mr. Cummings, to be fair, you will have an opportunity if you need to explain something when your attorney redirects you, okay?
Okay.
All right. But you got along
Ardo,
great
what
with
are
him
you
in the beginning,
asking?
isn't that true?
I had a
Yes or
yes.
no?
We got along just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Ardo, I'm
You
not
drank
sure
beer
what your
together,
question
yes?
is asking.
No.
You drank whiskey together,
We
yes?
drank whiskey together.
You ate steaks with him at his house, yes?
Not with him.
Ardo, can you clarify this for me? And I'll answer. TB, how hard? I can't with
You
him.
never really stayed in that trailer, did you?
I stayed in the trailer every time I went there. Yes, I did.
Do you recall when you voluntarily
Hey,
talked to a
Tech.
reporter?
you're being me again. Tech squirrel.
David Williams, do you remember talking to Mr. Williams?
I do.
Do you remember telling Mr. Williams?
Yeah, like I said, carbon monoxide is most commonly occurring with the incomplete combustion. And because okay, yeah, so like
Do you remember
okay.
telling Mr. Williams that you never stayed there?
That's
never
yeah,
told him
I
that.
mean, but that's why there's a gas additive so
Your Honor,
that
I would
people
like
know.
to play a portion of an interview. It's been redacted to play only that portion.
I'm going to object. I don't think that was the testimony.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You just,
We've
Hold on.
listened.
Are you
to
two
that
gonna
audio
flip each
recording.
other off like in the
Did
Parkland
say you
case?
stayed there.
Like, are we gonna get into a
So it's
pissing
not proper
match?
impeachment.
It's not, because what she's trying to impeach him, what he didn't say.
Oh my God, Mom, make them stop. I didn't say that. You told her she could answer. Mom. That is literally what they're doing. Y'all are arguing like children.
What? Continue. Continue.
and do you remember telling that same reporter?
Oh,
that You
okay.
just testified
Let's
that
discuss.
you saw when you stayed there one night.
I don't even. Okay. This is why you probably shouldn't have talked to a reporter. I'm just going to point that out. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Okay, Alec Baldwin wannabe over here. Don't talk to reporters. Okay, Alec? For the people in the cheap seats.
You smelled.
Yes,
Propane.
Thomas.
I did smell propane. Yes.
Didn't you also tell the reporter that it was all neuro?
I was dizzy from it a little bit, I think.
But you told the reporter that it was all neuro, correct?
I'm not sure.
Do you want to hear the jail call?
So the reporter called me when I was in jail, and I decided to have a whole ass interview when I already know I'm going to trial. But let me to continue to tick off every single symptom and sign that I could have had some kind of carbon monoxide issue, including telling the reporter that called the jail while I was being held and had counsel on a murder charge and granted an interview that it was all neurological. Okay. Sir, you're as dumb as the firearms expert. No, ma'am.
I don't think I need to.
Hold on, counsel, approach the bench.
Approach the bench. Okay, cool. Let's get into another argument. Oh, some will do. Yeah, you can lie to a reporter, but it's just stupid ass when you're being charged and you're already being held to talk to a reporter. Probably
Loki?
shouldn't. What?
Down at the bottom, please.
Yes, I know. Thomas is right. Okay, hold on.
Right.
Hold on. No, I need to do this. Because I need to do this. Because I have questions. In stealing the statement from Emily, I have questions.
Yeah. I stole it from her too. Actually, John's in the chat now.
I know, I just sent him the link. That's why I paused it.
Okay.
That's why I'm
Now, why is that doing that? I thought I killed that. Yeah, no, still there.
Good evening,
Okay.
everyone.
Everyone's favorite Ginger, the lovely John, who I get your brains broken. Have you heard my rant I just had about the carbon monoxide thing?
No,
John?
I missed.
Okay, so we're going to opine for like 35 minutes about a fucking propane tank and smelling gas, right? Enough
Yes.
that it's giving everybody a headache. Well, being that exposure to propane and carbon monoxide poisoning both cause agitation, headaches, nausea, and all these symptoms. All of them. And don't go anywhere. No leaving me. Don't go anywhere, Anne. So you went so far as to talk to a reporter while you were in jail being charged. You decided it was a good idea to take a reporter's call, talk to them and tell them, well, it's neuro, it's this. And I thought he could just be drunk or he could whatever. Sir, you literally are listing off the warning signs and everything for carbon monoxide or gas exposure. And the first place you went was, I could have been drunk. You literally had a headache and went through every single criteria for carbon monoxide poisoning to the point that you testified that you had a headache too. But nobody thought this was relevant? Literally, agitation, headache, the smell, nausea. You started with it too. Overly aggressive behavior.
I mean,
I thought he actually did a pretty damn decent job, but that is a fair criticism.
I mean, literally, it is every single symptom of carbon monoxide or gas exposure. You have testified was his behavior, and that you smelled the gas and had a headache too. And it was so bad, that's why you went outside.
I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I don't know what I can add to that. You made a very, very good point that was not made by either of the attorneys in the room.
No, I just wanted to know. Like, I was just
I think that the issue that you have here is...
Don't talk to a reporter while you're in jail?
Well, yeah, there's that. I thought he did a fantastic job today in terms of being a witness in his own defense. And granted, I haven't seen any of your commentary before I got in here, but I thought he did a very good job as a witness in his own defense.
He's nice and calm the whole way through.
He might be nice and calm the whole way. Thomas, I've had plenty of carbon monoxide exposure patients that kind of acted drunk. It affects everybody in a different way. I mean, in my 16-year career, it was a common thing. And yeah, natural gas has the sulfur and the methyl mercaptane added, but any gas exposure, will cause those symptoms. And I'm not saying he wasn't calm or that he doesn't have good legal answers, but I got questions. If you're literally listing all of the things under a medical cause and jumping from point A to, well, he might have been doing cocaine. You know what I mean? I get, but I'm just saying. And then to be like, yeah, I know when I talked to the reporter in the jail call, I said it was neuro, not substance.
Hang on, I gotta order something before it gets too late.
Yeah, you're good. I'm going to go back to this, but I'm just saying, I don't. And then they all sound like a bunch of high schoolers arguing with the judge and each other. Like, are we going to flip each other off like in the...
she's being mean to me.
Well, you could tell that the judge was getting pissed off, particularly at the prosecution.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, okay. They're literally, Mom, make him answer. Mom, he's not answering the way I want him to answer.
Except that's not Mom, it's Dad. And Dad's mad, and Dad's already mad, and he's not going to get better.
No, I'm going with Mom.
Okay. Oh, they're going to post passive-aggressive snipes on Twitter like normal teenagers. Oh. Wow.
Make him answer. I don't like how he answered.
Totally disregard the last question from the prosecutor that was asked by the prosecutor, and that shall not enter in any way in any type of deliberation. Ms. Romo, you may continue.
Do you remember having the conversation with the reporter?
Muffin, I live on
Yeah, I
alcohol.
remember having a conversation with a reporter.
And do you
Jailhouse phone always bugged. This is 100% true all the time, and has been for most of my life. But since I'm probably the oldest person in the room right now, that's been a while.
I'm pretty sure it's like every 5 minutes, the jailhouse phone literally tells you, hey, this is being recorded.
Maybe don't talk to a reporter. You've already been charged or being held. Maybe let's not talk to the reporter.
Were you aware or were you made aware at some point that that conversation was being recorded?
I wasn't aware of it.
Every conversation is
You're an idiot.
recorded in the jail.
Your testimony here today?
That my conversation was recorded?
Well, just disregard that last question. But you do recall the conversation, correct?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been
But you
2.5
just said you
years, but
didn't
yeah,
recall
I
it.
do recall it.
Do you remember telling the reporter that you couldn't even recall the night?
No, I don't remember that.
And in the call to the reporter, it sounds like you're saying that Mr. Adiola arrived and this altercation began right away.
I'm not aware of that. I don't think I would have said that.
I love you, Artie. Arto, you're great. I don't remember 30 seconds ago when I said I don't remember the call, but now I remember that I talked to somebody.
Might help refresh your memory.
No, I don't know.
But now I'm saying remember. But listening to myself might not make me remember what I said I remembered and then I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, but none of that's relevance to the actual question at hand.
I know. I'm just saying in general.
The same way they've been doing it to save time.
Like,
Okay.
I don't,
Outside the presence of the jury, okay?
it might not be relevant,
Take another, like a
but
5-10 minute break. All right. We'll call you back in.
it might not be relevant. But, you know, it doesn't mean it's not annoying as all hell.
That's okay. It'll be fun here in a couple minutes.
No, I'm just saying. Just like Dad has to call everyone to the bench to tell everybody they're about to get grounded. I'm going to take your phone away from you. You're not going to be allowed to use the car.
No, you can't go out on a date Saturday night.
Muffin Rando, I not that long ago was just in Minnesota visiting.
Your Honor, you do have a transcript.
No,
I
no,
mean-
no. The reason I'm asking is, if you don't play a snippet of it now, and then we have to send them again, how long is the entire? We play the whole thing to him better now. Instead of doing it in little pieces, why don't we just play?
Patty, I lived
I
in
can show
Tampa
him the
for a year.
transcript and see if that helps refresh his memory.
Did I see Nick? Where's Nick? Oh no, I didn't. Muffin, I did not go to see Nick. I went to see my friends Chris and Adam.
It was provided by the reporter.
They
I
are
know.
from Minnesota, and Chris moved down to Orlando, and Adam was finally off tour.
All right, we'll just play the whole audio then.
Mr. Cummings, pay attention, because they're gonna be asking questions on it.
Okay.
Tom, is because they don't want to catch things that are on the tables or things that they shouldn't. Or like people just walking around.
A lot of the reason, for
Or
instance,
the
is
jury.
I believe that the jurors need to walk through the courtroom in order to leave the room. So they move the camera away for that reason as well.
Audio on?
Yeah.
So this guy, I find this little ranch, and he's willing to do a pretty good deal. And I was looking at like 5 properties. Okay. And so I brought the thing out and I left it there for maybe 2 weeks, but I never stayed there except for I stayed there a couple nights. Yeah, but here's what happened. I knew it was bogus, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go get my trailer. So I went there, I stayed the night, and in the middle of the night, I was like gassed. The whole place smelled like propane and garlic, and I was all neuro.
Tech, mute yourself. All I can hear is angry
2
typing.
o'clock, he showed up and he pulled up with his truck and he's looking at me. He's like, "Hey man, how are you?" And I'm like, I couldn't even recall the night. I'm like, "I'm fine, boy."
I'm like
And,
totally,
he
like
goes over to
totally,
his trailer and I start packing
totally. Oh my
shit up. I'm
God.
like, I'm just getting the fuck out of here. This is creepy shit. And I went over. I drove my truck over there to get my shit out of the trailer, and he's at the kid in the kitchen, and I'm like, "Dude, what's up with you?"
Yeah, Muffin, it was Mankato, Minnesota.
Yeah, I fall into the kitchen counter. I fall down into the hallway, and I was there's sheep out there, there's Barbary sheep. So I was thinking about trying to go and hunt some of these Barbary. So
Polk
a
City is
rifle,
more
I just put a
Tampa.
scope and adjusted the scope, and it's leaning against the wall next to the table by the kitchen, like the exit of the kitchen. I grab it with my right hand as I'm getting up, and then he hits me again. I fall into the bathroom, and he's fucking screaming.
And this is his house, or are you in the mobile home?
Yeah.
This is the house. Okay.
D. Peterson, I went to U Tampa for a year.
Shot the floor like 5 or 6 times, and all of a sudden he just fell face first. I go over to the water fountain, I clean the shit off. But
Hey,
it
Syndicate.
evaporated so fast, it didn't even matter. Whatever it was it evaporated so much, it felt like it was super cold, you know?
Right.
And then I'm just, shit, I'm involved with big time shit here. Holy shit.
I necessarily say Polk City. It's more like northeast
of the road. This is crazy. The only person, I get up there and my phone's not getting a signal, and there's this guy named Walwood, the guy from Breaking Bad, the doctor dude. And he's like, can I help you? I'm like, and I can see his eyes, he's creepy, and I'm like, maybe, do you have a cell service? He's like, yep, and I'm medically trained.
And what does that have to do with the price of race in China?
Nothing. Nothing
Well,
whatsoever.
could you make a call? Are you willing to come down and be a witness of what happened down here?
Oh yeah, we get to talk about that guy later too.
No, but my point is, I think that this bolsters his credibility if this genuinely was a self-defense argument.
Considering it could just as easily be both of them freaking out because they're packed full of CO. And no, I'm not talking about commanding officer. Thomas Lindemann, another successful graduate of the Elwoods Law School. Hoo boy.
But here's the thing: is I think that all of his 911 calls, the fact that he did a 911 call in the first place, all of this bolsters the self-defense arguments because he's not acting like a guilty person.
And they're bringing the jury back in. Those of you watching from my channel should probably also like and subscribe and do all the YouTube.
All the people that are from the squirrel world, like, subscribe, come join us, have fun with us. Come have fun in the lair. We only occasionally bite. I have seizures and yell at the screen all day when stupid's happening. Which
But
apparently is a lot with
we
this
only bite on
trial.
request.
But my point, and I'd like your guys' take on it, my point all day was there is nothing in his testimony that is contradictory of the defense's theory.
Like I've said the entire time, like, I'm not gonna sit and, like you and I talked, John, I much like you don't want to prejudice yourself when you're watching like a trial kind of thing, I don't go into watching a trial or looking at evidence knowing theories of the crime, because that influences, your analysis to a point. There's no way to remain completely objective.
And that's fair, but I also watched this all day in live. So
no, I know you did. But what I'm saying is, from someone with a medical license and a firearms expert and who does this stuff, I'm not jumping from point A to he sometimes does cocaine.
Who does?
What?
The victim.
It was in his system.
Okay, did they check for the metabolite, or did we put it through mass spec and check to see if it's a metabolite or if it's active?
Cocaine.
I believe it was a metabolite check.
Okay, well, a metabolite check will pop positive for more than 30 days. So then you run it through GCMS and tell me when in the past 30 days.
Yeah, that runs against the state anyway then.
That isn't what I'm saying.
Because the defendant is entitled to every positive inference, every exculpatory inference. So I don't care.
Right, and I don't care if it's inculpatory or exculpatory. All I care about.
I do. Sorry, go ahead. I'll stop interrupting you.
All I care about in listening to testing like that, or medical determination or crime scene determination, are what are the scientific facts and what scientifically can I prove or disprove. I don't pick a side. There was 2 metabolites along with actual cocaine. Okay. But that's all I'm asking. Like, I care about the science and the analysis part. Okay, we have lawyers
for
the other stuff.
That there was actual cocaine in the blood sample.
Yeah, somebody said metabolites. I saw it. That's what I'm saying.
So there we go. There was cocaine in the system.
That's still, but I'm just saying, that's my question. Like, there are plenty
I think that even the medical examiner established very effectively that he had cocaine, alcohol, and weed in his system at the time that he perished.
Okay.
Yikes. That's a really ugly cocktail.
That's not a good combination.
It's not.
Now, the medical examiner was excluded by some underhanded means from saying what that would do in terms of behavior, but you don't have to be a rocket surgeon to imagine what that kind of a cocktail would do to somebody's behavioral calculus. So what more do you need?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Michael, I'm not going to answer that question under my Fifth Amendment rights.
When
I went to college.
Hey, Sam, there's an actual rate,
hold on.
military rate called in-flight missile repairman. Don't knock it.
He's like, yep, and I'm medically trained.
Transcript and see if that helps refresh his memory before we play.
What I asked Ms. Romo is whether or not the transcript was complete, and she told me she didn't know. So if the transcript isn't complete, she shouldn't use the transcript.
It was provided by the reporter, Your Honor. That's all I know.
If it's what I've seen, it's very incomplete. It's not a transcript, it's more just notes.
So just play the audio.
All right, we'll just play the whole audio then.
And Mr. Cummings, pay attention because there's going to be asking questions on it.
Okay.
Like, this to me is annoying. That they're sitting there bickering with each other. Like, none of you are being professional.
They were very catty today. I will
None
say
of you are
that.
being professional. You're arguing with each other. You're at the bench every 3 minutes. Like, we're going to end up like they did in Florida where they're investigating people because they sat there flipping each other off all day. Since the Florida bar is now has disciplinary action open.
So this guy, I find this little ranch, and he's willing to do a pretty good deal. And I was looking at like 5 properties.
Okay.
And so I brought the thing out there. I left it there for maybe 2 weeks, but I never stayed there except for a couple. I stayed there
New
a
Mexico,
couple
it's not
nights.
Florida.
A couple of nights is not never.
Here's what happened. I knew it was bogus, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go get my trailer. So I went there, I stayed the night, and in the middle of the night, I was like gassed. The whole place smelled like propane and garlic, and I was all neuro.
Garlic?
And then
Where's
the
he
next
getting garlic?
day, around 2 o'clock,
Yeah,
he
Michael,
showed
I'm a
and
fan
he
of
pulled
that.
up with his truck, and he's like, looking at me like, hey, man, how are you? And I'm like, I couldn't even recall the night. I'm like, I'm fine, why? And he goes over to his trailer, and I start packing my shit up. I'm like, I'm just getting the fuck out of here. This street shit. And I went over, I drove my truck over there to get my shit out of the trailer, and he's at the kid in the kitchen, and I'm like, dude, what's up with you?
Literally, Mom, make them stop.
Yeah, I fall into the kitchen counter. I fall down into the
Prosecutor
hallway.
in blue that
And I
ticks
was
me
at-
off more than anyone else.
There's sheep out there,
I'll
Barbary
fucking
sheep.
tase them.
I was thinking about trying to go and hunt some of these.
I'd be tasing
So
attorneys.
A rifle, I just put a scope and adjusted the scope, and it's leaning against the wall.
Tom, you know, actually, Tom, I don't know if you've been here that long. I'm not a Romanian vampire anymore.
And then he hits me again, and I fall into the bathroom.
We've already established the vampire thing.
Or does that make you a Serbian
And this is
vampire?
his house, or are you in the mobile home?
Yeah. I
This is
started
the
pulling
house.
the trigger.
Okay.
I started pulling the trigger. I don't even know if I shot him. I shot the floor like 5 or 6 times, and all of a sudden he just fell face first. I go over to the water fountain, I clean shit off.
But here's the thing: is
It
all of that
evaporated
speaks
so
to
fast,
an
it didn't matter.
altercation.
Whatever it was it evaporated so much it felt like it was super cold, you know.
Right.
And then I'm just, shit, I'm involved with big time shit here. Holy shit, what do I do, you know? And I didn't have cell service, so I drove 3 miles up the road, and this is crazy. The only person, I get up there and my phone's not getting a signal, and there's this guy named Walwood, the guy from Breaking Bad, the doctor dude. And he's like, I help you? I'm like, and I could see his eyes, he was creepy, and I'm like, maybe, do you have a cell service? He's like, yep, and I'm medically trained. Well, did you make a call? Are you willing to come down and be a witness of what happened down here?
But that's all of this is consistent with the defense's theory of the case.
Which is what?
That it was
They're
self-defense.
both fucking stupid?
That it was self-defense. He was being attacked.
Made it sound like if this happened right when you got there, you didn't mention that you were in the 5th wheel before all this happened.
Yeah, there's, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't see the beginning of your stream. I don't know what your opinion on the case is. I think that the defense basically closed it today.
I'll allow that question. Are you ready then?
I think it's over.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bring you the drink.
Closing arguments will be tomorrow. I'll be having it on my channel because Mike has stuff going on.
Okay.
But I think the case is done.
Hopefully. Because I don't know
Yeah.
how much more
Then
stupid
we'll
I
have-
can listen to.
Yeah, then we'll have a dearth of stupid.
Well, I think it's going to be that's going to be one of the shortest not guilty verdicts I've ever seen. Because you
I
only
don't know.
have
The
one
Rittenhouse trial ended pretty quick. Rittenhouse deliberations ended pretty quick.
Yeah, but in this one we only have one count to go through.
So what? An hour? 2 hour and a half?
I don't know. You can never necessarily guess.
In
those.
Brooks, they needed like 2.5 minutes per count. That was it.
Yeah, I was somewhere in that ballpark.
I don't think there was any real deliberation. It's like, okay, vote. Is he guilty as fuck on all of this? Yup. Let's go.
Yeah, it just took him that long to actually sign the paper. I think you get a not guilty verdict immediately. We're going to be done tomorrow.
Roma, let me continue.
Mr. Cummings, you testified that you
And
weren't
this
sure
is something that
what was
I'm going to
in
point out. I hate that she does not
Ariel's hand.
talk into the microphone at
That's
all.
correct.
Now,
The entire time.
was he
I hate that I can hear them
He
bickering
was trying
like
to.
a bunch of kindergartners the entire
blocked him.
time.
This woman needs a lavalier mic. She just a lapel mic because she
I'm not
she
confused.
can't sit still. She's more ADHD than I am, and that's saying
Yes.
something.
And you washed your face and hands?
I did.
And when you washed your face and hands, did it make it feel better?
It's not
It did
relevant. The
not.
judge
I
already
had to go
threw
get some
out
soap, and the
freaking-
soap made it feel better.
the judge already threw out the evidence tampering argument.
But you never told anybody you were sprayed with mace, did you?
Yeah, I did. I told Tomlinson.
No, you weren't sprayed with mace because it's a brand name.
You told David McCullough? You
The
were
last
sprayed
time I
with
checked, you
poison.
can't be sprayed with a
I don't
brand
recall
name.
that.
Nope.
Did you hear him testify?
I did.
You didn't know Mr. McCullough before this incident, did you?
I didn't.
Respectfully, Loki, that's kind of a dumb argument. He doesn't know the difference.
No, I know,
No,
but I'm
not at all.
just saying.
You also told the deputies on scene that it was some kind of neurological agent. Do you recall that?
I believe I referred to it as chemical.
No, you said it was neuro.
And neurological.
We listened to it.
I don't recall that.
You said it was neuro.
Again, he didn't know what the hell he was sprayed with. He just knew that he had to get it the fuck off.
AR in the kitchen.
And why would he leave that shit on his face and hands
Because I
anyway?
had worked on the scope.
Exactly.
I adjusted the scope
The
that night
behavior is
before I went to
perfectly
bed.
rational.
I was going to
Because
go
it's
sight it in the next day after
Oh,
work
here
on
we
the
go.
scope. You got to sight the
Oh,
rifle in.
Are we getting to the
Here we
point
go.
where the deputies come in and
Stop.
clear the
Just,
weapon?
just hold on.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you're gonna lose your mind if you haven't
I
seen
had
this
other
yet.
rounds too.
I
had
haven't. Hold
both
on.
kinds.
Shush.
When you put that rifle up against the porch, there was still a round chamber, was there not?
I don't think there was. I thought I cleared it.
Two armored sheep with this,
Yeah, I was.
with armor piercing rounds?
I had other rounds too. I had both kinds.
When you put that rifle up against the porch, there was still a round chamber, was there not?
I don't think there was. I thought I cleared it.
Was there a round already chambered when Mr. Adiola got there?
No, I pulled it back
Answered.
when I got away from him in the bathroom.
So Mr. Adiola arrived around 2 p.m., right?
About that time, 2:30, 2 o'clock ish.
And you said the fight ended around 3 or 3:30, is that correct?
Yeah.
So what was happening between 2 and 3 or 3:30?
He was unloading his truck, and I just was at my fifth wheel RV. I was just hanging out at my camper, and then he was in the house doing some stuff.
Why are you hanging out in your fifth wheel? I thought you were staying at the house.
Because I was in my trailer because I was giving him space to have his own place.
John, they've rightly pointed out he kind of looks like Putin.
Why Mr. Adiola would just attack you for no reason?
I figured he just had a bad temper.
Okay.
Then why did you engage him?
Never seen that bad temper before, though, had you?
Hold on.
I heard it. He talked about his neighbors.
Stop fucking
He definitely told me some
touching
stuff
fucking...
about his neighbors where he had what was definitely using.
I'm not, there's no questions for you, sir.
Okay.
Brush your hair.
I would like you to sit down, with permission, and show me how you're...
Here we go.
What in the egg McFuckmuffin is wrong with you?
This is only the beginning, Loki.
Okay.
I would hate to be
Let me
somebody
see what my attorneys
doing
think.
like a bankruptcy proceeding in the courtroom above and a negligent discharge goes off.
What in the egg McFuckmuffin?
Oh, it's not going to get better.
No. Here's your aneurysm.
Shut up.
Loki, enjoy.
Just hold on. I cannot process this amount of stupid right now.
It's
No
not gonna get better.
No is the last thing you should be saying.
Pause. Take a
I'd have
deep breath.
clothesline this bitch.
Pause.
I am
Pause.
paused. I'd have clotheslined a bitch. And since you can't see what I was doing,
Rock and I know where this is going, and you're not going
I
to
have
like
the Marine Corps hand, the knife hand out already, because it's habit.
Rock and I know it's coming, and you're not
What
going to like it.
in the egg McFuckmuffin is wrong with you?
It's skit time.
Like this, and he's coming out and he's swinging with his right hand. Like I found me leg. Yep. Trying to hit me in the head. I grab this. I get like this. And I carry him back and hit me again. I fall down again. And breathe in the door jam of the bathroom. I've got this like this. I'm down again for the second time. So I'm down.
And all this time, he's coming at you.
Yeah, whole
He's
time.
coming at you, like this.
Whole time I'm blocking it.
Yeah. And when did you
So then
change
he
it
grabbed
around?
the gun.
How did you change it around?
I didn't do that yet.
Okay.
So he grabbed the gun.
Where did he grab it?
Right there on the barrel.
Right here. Grab the barrel. Yeah.
And I'm scrambling. He's swinging. He's grabbing his other hand.
With his other hand.
And he grabs his hand.
His right hand. Oh. And what's he doing with this hand?
He's swinging that canister.
Okay.
So I'm blocking everything.
Did you kill the canister?
I finally got back to him
Excuse me. Did you kill the canister?
a couple times.
Was it heavy?
I don't know. I never picked it up.
Blocked it with your hand.
I blocked his arm. I didn't grab his jacket right here. That way I could pull his arm.
Okay. Yeah.
And what?
And then when did you chamber it? How did you chamber
Okay,
it?
so then I got the gun out of his hand. He dropped it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I pulled this
He's
back.
still coming at you?
No, he stood back.
Oh, you stood back a second.
I'm gonna do this. I said, stop. And he's staring into you, right? He's not moving back all the way to the bedroom.
Officer, hold on. Double check that.
This is when the deputy finally decides to step in and make sure that the weapon is cleared.
So,
Hold on.
But it's clear.
Put that on the floor.
It's the zip tie now.
Oh, the zip tie. Okay, the safety zip tie. Okay, all right. Okay.
So I'm going to object to further demonstration with the weapon just for safety purposes.
I knew that would just break your minds.
Loki.exe has stopped functioning. Please let Alt 4 to restart this trip. Oh.
Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete.
Yep. Loki has blue screen, and I was expecting this.
I
told her to pause and take. I told her to pause and take a deep breath. I actually meant the video.
Sir?
I thought it would have been absolutely hilarious if you shot the prosecutor right then and there. Not actually, but you know what I mean.
Sir, what in the Egg McFuckmuffin is A, wrong with all of you? Every last one of you. Because a fucking kindergartner who has had like basic small child gun safety knows we shouldn't do this. But I have questions. So many questions.
Hey, TB, Bigger may have done it first, but he pointed the weapon at the jury.
No.
In fairness, so did their expert.
No. Look. A, I'd clothesline a bitch first.
Why did it take the deputy that long to actually step in?
Well, that is the least of my questions. If I'm not rewinding that because I'm still trying to reboot my fucking brain. So look. I have questions. Like, I want to know, A, we have surpassed the Aldi off-brand fucking Cracker Jacks law license and expertise and safety certifications. That is a step of this. Okay? Who the fuck gave you crayons to eat? I know Marines in boot camp that are smarter. The Marine in Full Metal Jacket that offs himself has more fucking brain cells than you do.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I don't think that I would. I don't think that I would make. I don't think I would hand an alleged murderer a firearm and let him point it at me. I just don't think I would do that.
We're not there yet. I'm not even to that point. There's so much that has gone wrong that we even got to this point.
Oh, it's not going to get better. And I'll point it out when it happens. But Croc knows where I'm going with this because, yeah.
The tech squirrel does know where you're going with this. And I suggest that you just wait for her to blue screen again.
Okay, A. Did you see the zip tie? Did you see the zip tie?
I did. I did not point it out because it didn't seem particularly relevant.
The reason the zip tie is there, okay. The zip tie is supposed to be there so you can't make that nice clicky sound and chamber anything. It won't shut and you can't chamber around. So who the fuck can't put a zip tie on right? What fucktard screwed up a zip tie? I live in Pennsylvania. The West Virginia line is 45 minutes from here. I know meth addicts that are smarter than you people.
I
would
will tell you that it
sooner-
wasn't
no,
any of
shush.
Armenians.
Just shush.
Yes.
I would sooner hand my dude his goddamn street sign back. I would literally hand my guy the street sign. And trust him more. I would literally trust a meth addict from Mississippi or Louisiana or West Virginia or someone that drank bad moonshine that they didn't bleed the ethanol off of first before I handed this moron anything. What? What are you? You can't use a zip tie?
Nope.
I have a 5-year-old who can zip tie things. This is literally, John, your box fort will not save you from a round.
But I can pretend it might. It also
John,
would save me from justice, but that didn't help Darryl Brooks.
What? Okay.
It doesn't get better. I'm telling you, it doesn't.
You handed this man a rifle. Captain Kangaroo, the sheriff's deputy. If your vest ends above your belly button and your pants are below your muffin top, showing me your ass crack, and I can see the muffin top you've got going in between the two, let's pick that up first. Yank your pants up, adjust your belt, and fix your vest. 2, your vest ain't gonna save you or do jack shit against that rifle because you're wearing a 3A vest at the most, which does not protect your stupid ass. So I don't know what you're relying on, dumb fuck. This dumbass who can't brush her hair is trusting the moron who looks like a reject fat Putin who can't figure out how to wear a goddamn mask. You look like someone left you in a fucking test tube too long.
Who she charged and it wants to put away for life for murder and just handing him a weapon.
Sir, you're an idiot. You in the blue need to find yourself a pair of Spanx or a dress that fits because you look like a bag of ass and not a professional. Because not only are you at least acting like a bag of ass, you look like it too. You unprofessional fuck. I cannot with these people.
It's not going to get
better. Question for you,
There is
John.
not enough chlorine in the gene pool. If you point that weapon at me, I don't care how many times that deputy has cleared it, I can take the ass end of that rifle and knock you the fuck out at your temple. You handed somebody a weapon and are in close quarters hand-to-hand combat that if I am holding that rifle the way he was, I'm going to crack you in the temple with the buttstock.
That could kill
I don't need it to be loaded.
It's a club.
You don't even need to use it as a club. Fuck, at this point, you could have swung it like a goddamn baseball bat. But shit, I'm going to use the ass end of the rifle and give you an impacted skull fracture. What in the egg McMuffin bullshit? What kind of crayon-eating lawyer are you? I have met Marines, like PFC Marines, that are smarter than you.
And I'm not handing an alleged murderer that I am bringing up a weapon
Jerry,
under any circumstance.
I trust my schizophrenic with a street son more than I trust him.
Level up.
Anyway, John, I got a question for my chat for you.
Yeah.
Well, tell your chat to get over here and subscribe and come play with us.
They have a link. They know where it is. Go ahead,
that?
John.
No, go ahead. What's the question?
It's right here. It's right there on the screen, dude.
This one. If the guy had shot the prosecutor, the court would it be kind of stuff? Probably not, because I don't think on an objective basis you could suggest.
No, it's not self-defense. It's chlorinating the fucking gene pool. The fucking Darwin Awards of the court.
And Tom has claimed, has subscribed, and Raziel from my chat.
This is literally the Darwin Awards of court stupid.
Oh, I've seen worse.
I agree with that.
Have you been in
Not
a
much
courtroom
worse.
with worse, John?
Not much.
Pull your pants up.
What is that?
Why do you have a tactical fucking phone holster? Not like you can reach it anyways. Fat fuck. You're saying that's 28, sir? You're delusional. If he no.
I've
All
heard
the
of
no.
suicide by cop, but I've never heard of suicide.
Why
by
does he still have the weapon?
This is a model now. It's just
It's a blue one. It's a blue
yeah, it's a
simunition
rubber model.
weapon.
Which, by the way, if they had this the entire time, this is where I thought your head would explode. They had this the entire time. So why did you hand him the actual one?
I'm on the ground now in the back bedroom. I'm laying this way. He's coming through the doorway. I'm like this. I'm kind of back, and he's coming out over the top of me, swinging at me with the canister. And I'm like this, gun.
Mm-hmm.
Her expression is deeply
Let's roll
unlikely.
around on the ground.
He was all over it. So where was his hands all over it? He was all over the gun trying to get it. All over it. But here, the right. I don't mean all over it. I mean he's all over it, giving 100% aggression towards me. I'm down on the ground. He's got a hold of the gun by the scope. I think he pulled the gun against the trigger. Boom, boom, 2 shots went off. I get up to here, and the rest of the shots were fired from about that level. It's hard to recall it all too.
Patty, no dying without written authorization.
He was swinging at me like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, like this? Yep. When he shooting, he's over at me.
I'd have punched her in the face.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. You can come back to witness stand.
Oh, she is deep. She is a deeply unlikable human being.
When Mr. Ariello was shot,
I still want to know what's up with the bag of ass sheriff's
He fell right at
deputy
my
over
feet.
here.
And then?
And then I walked out of the room and went outside and coughed out what was in my lungs.
I like that she held the model more safely than the actual weapon.
when you're down, he's looking over you trying to get the weapon, that's when the shots went off.
Yep.
He fell right there.
Is he not
No, I didn't
pregnant
think he
with
fell right
twins?
when the shots went off into the floor.
What?
I did not say he fell on me when the first 2 shots went off.
I didn't say he.
Those
fell on
shots
you.
went into.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
And some old dude. Okay, she's blinking. some old dude. It actually lays out exactly. It actually lays out the pattern for the way the shell casings were there in the room in the pictures. I think we may have lost Loki again, John.
No. Stephanie's here.
Hour 404.
No. I'm just. Where's my I like Valium, Ativan, alcohol. Apparently, I should have.
This prosecutor was rough to get through.
Can we drug test her?
That's a good question.
I'm going to need to drug screen you, ma'am. Ma'am.
She was extremely unlikable.
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to go take a UA. I'm also going to need your law license and a shredder. Because I have no confidence in your ability to walk and chew bubblegum, let alone practice law. You know what? My people in the chat, my beasties, I would like to make 3 things clear. One, could you pretty please, just somebody, take any one of my firearms videos where I give my lecture at the beginning and fucking email it to this bitch. I literally, every fucking video.
Rule number 1, don't do what you just saw.
Explain this. Every video I say not to do this. Every video I am handling a firearm, I show you how to clear it, even though I am in possession, even though there's no one in the room but me. I even show you it is clear in every single one of my videos. So apparently we need remedial gun safety. But that aside,
you will be happy with the defense expert because he does precisely that.
That aside, please go play in traffic. You know that game Frogger? Please go to I-10 in Tampa and try it. I-10 runs through New Mexico. Go play Frogger. Go play in traffic. It is less dangerous than what you just did.
Yep.
Go do it drunk and blindfolded. It's less dangerous. Go play in traffic. Some people's children. No. You know what? I need, you know what I want? You know, the dog training shock collars or a spray bottle of water. Just let me into this courtroom with a spray bottle, and every time someone fucking handles a gun wrong, I can spray them in the face and smack them on the nose with a rolled up newspaper. Bad. No, we don't do that. No.
Yeah, That's about right.
If you want a good location for Frogger, try I-5 southbound just north of Joint Base Lewis McCord at 6 in the morning.
How about the New Jersey Turnpike?
Ooh, that could work too.
The absolute stupidity and incompetence. I cannot with you. I cannot. This is like a blatant OSHA violation on top of it.
Do that one.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of OSHA violations.
Oh, jeez. John, do everybody here a favor. Don't give up your day job, man.
I'm about to pick up my OSHA. Like, if I lived there, I would literally take my like OSHA manuals or the like and just
beat them to death with them.
Yeah, just
that
right
might be
upside the head.
self-defense.
I will beat you to death with an
Defensive
OSHA
self
manual
for
or
others.
an NRA safety manual. Like, can somebody go take the deputy who like was out of breath, just sitting down and getting back up? So I mean, like, hey, someone needs to go check on him, and I don't think you're wearing the right size pants or vests, sir.
I was kind of surprised why it took him so long to actually do something.
Yeah. We're not even.
I think maybe he fell asleep.
No, I think he probably has like sleep apnea and narcolepsy. Because none of them have a brain cell to share between them to strike together and get a spark.
It would probably help if he wasn't upwards of 200 kilos.
Like, sir. I need to know where, just where how did you dressed yourself today, right? Did your mom dress you? Like, you're capable of your ADLs? Like, I need to know how you function in society and how you manage to get a law license with that level of stupid. But on top of all of this, like, on top of all the stupid that the law enforcement officers is fucking dumb. Y'all are fucking stupid. People, I have said this before in some of my lives. I worked with. You've ever seen the TV show Swamp People?
Sure.
So the last company I worked for, 4 of them were my employees from the show Swamp People, from Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana. They used to get drunk and gator wrestle for fun after work. I don't think they're this stupid. They literally got drunk and wrestled alligators for shits and grins.
I have a guy that I know whose claim to fame is that he beat an alligator to death with literally a normal like carpentry hammer. And he's probably smarter than this idiot.
Claw or ball peen?
It was claw.
Okay. That's at least somewhat better if you're trying.
Ball peen would probably not have ended well.
Yeah, probably not.
Ian is far nicer than I am. Ian would have been the good Canadian, and Runkle would have been like screaming at the screen, but he's still somewhat of a nice.
Runkle was screaming at the screen today.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I saw someone saying that Runkle's far nicer than I am. when it comes to things like this.
I gotta get him back tomorrow for closing arguments. His insight was interesting. I gotta get you back for closing arguments. Whoever wants to is welcome.
Sure. Just tell me what time.
Yeah, send me a message too.
Literally, sir.
oh, Tom. I see what you did there, Tom. There you go. That's about our deputy.
Oh God. Wasn't that the old joke is, one of his most famous last words? It's like, hey buddy, watch this.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Okay, you know
Hold
what?
my beer.
I'm going to give people Stephanie's. Anybody that knows Loki or has been around a while knows that I always say, if it starts with hold my beer and watch this, it ends with a paramedic. Don't do anything you don't want me to broadcast on the county radio. Don't do anything that will embarrass you when I yell it across an emergency room. And apparently, now I need to add, don't give the cracked out fat Putin wannabe a weapon that's possibly loaded and get into some kind of weird foreplay rolling around voyeuristic bullshit on national, like, no.
I can simplify that.
No.
I can simplify that. Don't give the person that you are currently charging with murder and are attempting to put away for life a unchecked weapon in the middle of open court.
When you have a prop weapon, don't give him the weapon at all.
Yeah, well, it took him a while to figure that one out.
I would like to also point out, I don't advertise my skills and abilities to their fullest ever. I don't. I try not to. But I could have literally grabbed her and broken her neck like 55 times in that entire skit. You let yourself get that close that I could have broken your neck. But your cool the deputy from Florida that sprung her convict boyfriend was smarter than you.
Well, I mean, think about it this way.
Johnny Knoxville and Bam Margera are brighter than you. And I worked as the sec medic for the first Jackass movie.
Think about it this way. All right. People ask me all the time, what is the hostile witness? This is the defendant that
you're
you
still
are
answering for me.
Huh?
Tech squirrel.
Oh, shit.
No, you keep going, John.
Oh, what I was saying was, this is the defendant that the prosecutor, this woman in blue, is trying to put away for the rest of his life on the theory that he murdered somebody.
Right. So let me just get
not
close
somebody
enough.
I would not want to get that close to.
Right. So let's get right there at where he can break my neck or shoot me.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a great idea. It just doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
I don't remember exactly what season. I believe it was mid-20s of The Simpsons, where they when Dr. Hibbard takes an x-ray of Homer's head, and they discover he's got a crayon sticking out of his brain. And he goes, I've been looking for that crayon for 20 years. And Marge says, well, he's had like 300 x-rays. And he goes, I can explain that, ha ha ha. And he holds up the film. He goes, I always hold it this way. My thumb covers the crayon. And then he says he doesn't fix that. So then he goes and finds Dr. Nick Riviera and Mo, and they perform brain surgery by removing the crayon from his brain. And Homer turns into like a genius. Then he doesn't like it, so then he writes Lisa a note. And then he goes and has Mo shove the crayon back up his nose into his brain and returns himself to pre-episode, like regular Homer. That person isn't that stupid. I would trust Homer Simpson before I trust you. I would trust Lionel Hutz or Nick Riviera before I would trust you. I would not trust you with the life of a spotted lanternfly that's a freaking indigenous pest. I would literally not trust you to walk and chew gum. You uneducated dumb ass.
Well, here's the problem. You can't say uneducated because she technically has a law degree and apparently passed the bar in New Mexico, which is...
It says something.
Have you seen some of the
New Mexico?
Have you seen some of your fellow lawyers on YouTube?
Well, Stephanie, so that was one of the things when I was first taking the bar. One of the partners at the firm I was with said, think of the dumbest lawyer you know. They passed the bar. And you know what? Since then, I've never had any questions about being able to pass a bar exam.
I would like to point out that here's the thing.
And by the way, I passed 2 bar exams, no problem first time.
I don't have much of a self-preservation instinct. Most of us that have ever worked in emergency services don't. Okay.
I do.
Right. You all run out of the burning building or away from the active shooter.
That's why I became a lawyer and not a
right.
firefighter.
I run into it. I don't have that same and I wouldn't do this.
Yeah, I prefer not to die.
I run into SWAT situations and school shootings and burning buildings, and I climb through wreckage of building collapses and terrorist events, and I'm not this stupid.
Well, and I respect that. I just wouldn't do it. When I hear gunshots, I run the other direction.
I don't know. I used to walk into firefights, and I wouldn't do that shit. In fact, if I saw somebody pulling that shit, I'd court-martial them.
The Marine from Full Metal Jacket is smarter.
Leonard Lawrence, also known as Private Gomer Pyle.
I know. There's only 2 things that come out of Texas. Private Pyle.
Queers and queers. Because you don't want to scared of me, but that kind of narrows it down.
I have a great deal of respect for the people that do run because, like Jerry pointed out, EMS, firemen, women, absolute heroes because they
No, we're not. We're just too stupid. We're just too stupid to listen to biology when your brain's like, hey, self-preservation instinct, this is a bad idea.
When I hear gunshots or smell smoke, I'm going the opposite direction.
I'm also the person who made thermite in high school.
So I have a hell of a lot of respect for people that are able to overcome that instinct because I don't think.
Yeah, but if I've overcome that instinct and I still wouldn't do this, what does that say?
It says that she is just a moron.
Yes, that's exactly what that says.
Like,
although there are probably morons.
She's too stupid to understand what she was putting herself in. She's too stupid to understand the situation she was putting herself in.
John, dude, we love you lots, but let me describe this for you. I am now hearing a million lawyers all trying to represent the same 20 million morons that are about to sue you in a class action for this.
I have no obligation to her. What are you talking about?
There's
no
you're
duty here.
comparing this lady to a moron. They don't like that much.
So what?
Okay, whatever. How much? How much? Wait.
That's the
Okay,
joke,
whatever.
John.
No, I get it. The joke didn't land on me real quick, but I get it now.
I have a question. I can't. How much more stupid is there with this? Is there any?
Several hours.
It's not going to get better.
Is there any other specific stupid thing that I need to move to? Or are we gonna?
I didn't take time stamps while I was.
No, I'm asking to chat. Lots. Okay. Well, I'll give you guys like 15 minutes to. You can either ask questions or give me a timestamp, because then I'm going to crash, and then I will. Jerry. Okay. So should I just stop for right now and then pick it back up?
I don't think it gets a lot worse than that play acting. Unless Jerry has a specific timestamp. I think that play acting was probably the worst of it.
But and then there's the whole bit with the reconstruction expert. That was entertaining later.
I thought he was fantastic.
No. Well, we're talking about early. We're talking about apparently early on there was some silliness, and I'm not talking about the bit with the floor.
Yeah.
I would also like to know,
sir,
here's my other question. Have you ever shot a gun?
Have I?
Have you? My question's for the dumbasses back who needs a hairbrush and a pair of Spanx, but this is not the point. He said dude fired 5 or 6 rounds, and then you wrestled it away from him by grabbing the barrel. Please let me see the palms of your hands for those burns.
I see where you're going. I don't think that was the testimony, if I recall it correctly.
That's exactly what he just said.
She's not talking about later, John. She hasn't seen any of this.
Okay.
Right now, he just said he fired several rounds and I grabbed it by the barrel because the barrel was pointed at me.
He did not.
Or he shows that he grabbed it because it was pointed.
He claims that the decedent grabbed the barrel.
Okay, somebody show me burns to hands. You don't fire rounds and then grab it.
I know that, and you know that, and that was one of the things that I had questions about as it related to whether there were burns in the autopsy report. And apparently there were not. But
Jerry has a question.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Bring it, Jerry.
But anyway, from what I was... Okay, go ahead. Take Jerry's question.
It depends on your... Okay, hold on. Did I do it? It depends on what you're defining post-ictal psychosis as. Yeah, Michael, I mean, you'll still have a layer of skin or two. I'm not saying 6 shots gives you 3rd-degree burns. You're still going to have 1st, maybe 2nd-degree little blisters, though. I've had a single brass round end up down my shirt, and I have a scar right in my at my cleavage. I have a very noticeable scar.
There you go. There's the definition for you.
No, that's not a medical. The definition of post-ictal and what happens is very narrow. You have to decide like what you're saying is psychotic, because if you have somebody that's post-ictal and they're acting off, it would depend, like technically the post-ictal period doesn't end until they're acting more normally back to baseline. And if you have another seizure before return to baseline, it's known as status epilepticus or status seizure. If you're, but that means you're still post-ictal. If you, post-ictal doesn't have to mean out of it. Post-ictal can be aggressive. Post-ictal can be out of it. Post-ictal can be weirdly affectionate. But if you don't return to your normal baseline, you know, you're still post-ictal. And it's not psychosis. The definition of psychosis is very narrow in that setting. Because psychosis itself is a very narrow definition. But
well, and it's usually only, you know, a few minutes to like half an hour after whatever occurred.
No.
I can give you the DSM.
Yeah, I know what the DSM says. I'm just saying, like, with the post-ictal period, doesn't generally last that long. If it's lasting that long and you're post-ictal, they're generally status seizures and focal motor seizures occurring at the same time. Or you'll actually notice incomplete focal motor seizure activity.
No, I know, but I'm just giving the clinical definition.
Yeah, I know what the clinical definition is, but I'm just saying you can't. It's very hard to know what somebody's baseline is, right?
Sure.
Because you're calling me when the person's already seizing. So I have to go off what you say that their baseline is. So making a diagnosis of post-ictal psychosis without like without me witnessing you prior to status epilepticus.
No, it's difficult to make that comparison. That's fair.
You know, I can't say, yeah, we see tons of post-ictal psychosis, because unless I know you or I've seen you before and I know what your baseline is, they're just going to chalk it up to post-ictal aggression, post-ictal behaviors. They're not going to be able to clinically diagnose post-ictal psychosis. And if it takes, and things take a day or two to manifest after status epilepticus tells me you're probably having, what?
I was going to say, then that's not what that is, because
that's telling me you're probably still having like focal motor seizures. You're just not having the tonic-clonic or myoclonic ones. No, an EMT cannot diagnose it.
Yeah, no, it would be a sort of critical immediate.
You would need to have a neurologist do it, and you'd have to be hooked up to an EEG for a long period of time so that they could see that, because you're saying it manifests a day later. No, because they still don't know. I know they can't diagnose it on the way to the ER.
No, they cannot.
Do I know people that have post-ictal psychosis? Yes, but they used to be my like frequent seizure patients that have very difficult to control epilepsy. You know, and it was a known diagnosis. And, we would bring out restraints immediately and restrain them while they were still seizing, knowing that when they stopped actively seizing, we were going to have problems.
And by the way, can I just really quickly give my disclaimer? Like, not
legal advice, not medical advice.
Yeah, not at all. But I am familiar from my legal work in medical malpractice about the subject. I'm familiar. I am in no way a doctor. It's no legal advice, no medical advice.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not. Yeah, post-ictal is just literally the definition of post-ictal is the period after the active seizure activity has stopped, but before the patient returns to baseline mental status. That's the post-ictal period.
Yeah.
That's the definition of it. And many people are post-ictal I've had patients who are post-ictal for an hour. But an EMS provider would never
depend upon repeated seizures.
Yeah, mine's from, that's status seizures, not just regular. I mean, I have people in the in the field. I have people that I know that have post-ictal psychosis, and we used to restrain them while they were still seizing. I would put a line in them seizing before I broke it with Versed. Knowing that once I broke it with Versed, I was going to have my hands full with their behavior, so I would just sedate them. Break it and sedate, honestly. But no, nobody is going to PSI is pounds per square inch, but I'm not looking. What is this? The muzzle velocity? Wouldn't be pounds per square inch as your muscle velocity. As your muzzle, PSI is not generally something in PSI. I mean, you might have post-ictal psychosis, but I would want to know exactly that you're not still having focal motor seizures that just aren't myoclonic, that they're not seeing in that day or two period of time that has not.
I think what Michael was getting at was it's a matter of force as opposed to it's a separate conversation that he's sort of bringing up.
But okay.
I mean, 5,800 psi. If you put if you put a round directly against an object and tested it that way, that wouldn't be shocking to me. 58,000.
Okay, well,
wouldn't be shocking to me. It's just not it's not particularly a useful measurement in my mind. No, Michael, that has nothing to do with
okay.
It's the rifling that is okay.
It's friction.
Yeah. It is the friction with the rifling that is what creates the heat.
Yeah, but the pressure, some old dude, they're referring to the pressure between the barrel and the outside of the round. It's the friction itself, but that's not the coefficient of friction.
Which, you're the physics expert. I could look it up, and I'm not unfamiliar, but I don't have it off the top of my head.
Right, but I mean, you still have coefficient of friction, but you have somebody like me who molly coats. So... okay, we're going to watch a few more minutes of this. I'll take questions, and then I'll return to this shit show to lose my mind again tomorrow while we're waiting.
By the way, tomorrow is not going to be on Mike's channel. It'll be on mine.
It's on yours.
He's got stuff going on, so
yeah,
I'm going to set it up and I'll send it out probably like 2 or 3 in the morning.
That's fine. Do me a favor, send Tech Squirrel. Tech Squirrel, can you put a link to John's channel?
Yeah, give me a sec.
And shoot me a DM so I can make sure I can get you a link. I'm gonna send it out to all of like the Law Tubi people, and we'll see whoever we get.
Mm-hmm.
I know Cole wants to come by, and I'm happy to have him back.
That's fine. I'm just saying, but you know, pop up John's so everyone can go and go. Like, subscribe. John's got like 1 million more subscribers than me, so I'm sure you guys have
Not
already
even
come from there. But
we're
so
almost at 5,000. That'll be cool.
good job. Yeah, I'll hit 1,000 one day. We're gonna watch a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna tap out. My brain fucking hurts.
The floor, they didn't go into him.
That's not what I said. Maybe it's my question.
Yeah, the Savage Savant, the lair is live. You missed me killing my last remaining brain cells.
Exactly. A shot in the floor. I didn't shoot. I think he pulled it against the trigger. I don't remember pulling the trigger at first.
And then he fell?
Yep. No, he didn't fall. I got up a little ways in more of a crab walk position, and I started pulling the trigger. That's why all those shots went through the wall.
So you were crab walking backwards. And he's not leaning over you anymore.
I'm trying to get away from him.
If he's not leaning over you
Oh, yeah, he was.
how can he be leaning over you if you're crab walking backwards?
He's definitely trying to hit me in the head with that canister.
Was he leaning over you? Was he just following you like this?
Loki, can I ask you to pause for a
He was
second?
so aggressive, you couldn't believe it.
You didn't answer my question.
There's John's channel.
Yeah, he is following me. He's trying to strike me in the head with his hand, his right hand. Yep.
Can I ask you to pause for 1 second and address some old dude's comments? Because I don't think that's necessarily how that works. But I don't know, and you know more than I do. You're
Thanks,
saying that
Savage.
suddenly pressurizing a barrel of gases to 58,000 psi will generate heat, not just the friction. I think that there's more behind that than that simple kind of calculation.
There is. There's a lot more behind that. Because when I pressurize my SCBA tanks, they don't get hot. Yeah, you're looking at the coefficient of friction, you're looking at the primer going off, you're looking at other things happening too. Yes, you want the gases. It gets warm, but not that. And that actually, the reason when you pump up a tire, it gets warm is there's friction involved. But you want the gases trapped behind the round and to get warm, and you're expanding with the primer going off. Yeah. So that's your initial delta. Because that's when we start getting into, your delta energy, that you need to overcome.
I mean, so that would be the argument why that there would be lesser, outside of the friction issue, obviously. That would be less intense at the end of the barrel as opposed to, or toward the muzzle than at, for instance, the actual chamber.
Because the muzzle flash comes out the end where the holes are in the vents. They're going to be hotter for you where the muzzle flashed and all the flames just were.
Okay.
Or where it's just the pressurized gas going off inside or behind your shell casing. It's going to be where the burns are coming out where you have your muzzle flash.
Okay. So if let's say hypothetically, he didn't grab the muzzle, he grabbed the center of the barrel, so to speak. You're less likely to have burns as a result of that.
Less likely, yeah.
But you're still going to have some.
No. I mean, like, I'm still thinking there'd still be damage.
I
My
understand
theory,
elementary gas laws.
yeah. No, my theory of the issue was I don't think that he necessarily even grabbed the barrel. I think that he might have tried to slap the weapon down at the scope area. But any event, okay. I was just I
I
was curious.
understand Boyle's laws and all of the elementary gas laws. I've taught differential equations. I've taught advanced physics. I understand them just fine. I'm the child of a nuclear engineer. I understand my physics. I'm also the asshole that made thermite in high school and melted a table.
Michael, I don't recall seeing a suppressor on there.
There's no suppressor. He just has the typical Sig Sauer at the end of the barrel. It is vented the whole way around for the muzzle flash. I'm not saying you didn't, some old dude. I'm just saying, when it comes to running cyclotrons and things,
we know things.
It's not just that. The heat of that the barrel has, the basic issue is, yeah, it's a basic flash suppressor, but it's not TB. When you say it's a suppressor, nobody's thinking of a flash suppressor.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's not. They're not thinking flash suppressor.
If he damaged the scope, he had to have grabbed it closer to the middle of the rifle,
And
not the barrel.
Here's the thing.
Well, but that's the problem. Sorry, can I real quick?
Sure.
That's the one thing that I'm still kind of stuck with in my mind. And you brought it up the other night, and I'm still not. Unless they adulterated the crime scene, that front piece of the scope to me suggests that he tried to slap it downwards.
It wouldn't have come off where it is.
What the guy said, bull rushing, and it would not have come off, and it would not have come to rest where it was in those photographs.
It can't be where it came to rest, and it wouldn't come off like that. Those scope rings, you need an Allen key to remove.
Well, he said he attached it by electrical tape.
It's not.
Well,
you can see in the lens cover. It's the lens cap that he has attached with electrical tape. The actual scope itself is attached with 4 scope rings, and there are 4 in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
attach
attached to the rail with an Allen key and screws. And there are 4 in the picture still on it.
Yeah.
He didn't grab the barrel.
It doesn't make sense.
He didn't grab the barrel. Smacking it down is not going to take a scope ring off. And I can tell you, he sure as shit, if you grab the middle, what it will do is prevent the slide for closing. Look at his hands. Fight bite. The gun would have bit him.
Mm-hmm.
You grab that when that's, after it's ejected around or it's trying to eject around, it's going to slam back and pinch your hand. That's why
let me ask you one last question. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm saying when I teach Krav and I teach self-defense, right? One of the things we teach is you are not going to take a weapon from somebody's hands if it's pointed at you. Grabbing and pulling is not going to work because grabbing and pulling isn't going to work because here's the thing. You've got your finger in front of the trigger, right? And if you grab the gun and pull towards you, it works just like a bump stock does.
the trigger will go off.
Right, and that's the premise of how a bump stock works. Not that it makes the gun an automatic, not that, any of that, right? It's that it's bouncing off your shoulder and you're allowing the recoil to be what allows you to rapid fire. Don't need a bump stock to do it, but you can do it. So what we always teach is you grab and you push to the left or the right, depending on how they're holding it.
Towards the inside of his body.
Actually, you generally want to pull it back because towards the inside, they can flex their wrist more. If I push it out, it'll break his wrist. So generally, you push it out. It's no longer pointing at you, and you have less flex to your wrist. I mean, I really flexible.
Let's
but
presume this person's not a genius, and his idea was to bum rush the defendant and try to smack it down.
What they've done,
what you described occurred.
Right, but they've done studies that show where they put someone into extreme stress. Because they intentionally, in SWAT school, they intentionally put you under extreme stress to try to elicit the fight or flight from you. Right? Okay. Because my ability as a precision marksman, if my heart rate goes up, my accuracy goes down. My fine motor skills go down. And you're talking.
Your accuracy would also go down if you were maced.
No, it wouldn't.
Maybe yours, but the average individual.
Yeah, I mean the average individual, but I'm saying mine won't. But regardless, they've put people under extreme stress, and you actually will instinctively push out. You won't grab and pull it towards you.
Makes sense.
Your brain is not going to try to get you to pull a weapon towards you. Your brain's going to have you push it away and try to deflect it either way so you're not facing it with the fight or flight.
Well,
okay,
let me
so
ask you.
Here's the thing. If you grab it, the only place you're going to be able to grab it based on how long that barrel is and where things are, is you're going to have your fingers where it's ejecting the round. So it will either pinch your hand or you can man up and stuff your fingers into it because it prevents it from cycling and chambering another round.
Okay. So
you see what I'm saying? Until that goes, you can't chamber the round. So we teach people to do that. And yeah, under heavy adrenaline, you lose fine motor skills. But I've trained for 16 years that I stay very steady, even with high adrenaline. My heart rate doesn't go up. And it's actually why scientifically women are better precision marksmen than men.
That is true.
Because women have better regulation of those physiologic function just based off biology and physiology. I'm a lot, and you have to remember, women, your general muscle mass is in your hips and your waist, whereas men, it's in your shoulders. So my center of gravity being different also allows me to not have to hold as much of my body weight up when I'm in position. You are going to tire more quickly than I am. My center of gravity is at my hips. Yours is at your shoulders. You're going to have to shoulder more weight, and you're going to fatigue your muscles and quiver before a female will, just based off of body composition and where your mass is. So I'm just saying, you know, you have a rifle at that length, you're grabbing at the ejection port, you're grabbing right above that front pistol, the front pistol grip. And at that point, your face is like, I mean, he's not as tall as you, John. You would have distance to be able to do it. He does not. He's not much bigger than this prosecutor. He would be hard pressed to not have that muzzle pushed up against him.
How do you know he's not much bigger than this prosecutor?
Because
they were just standing next to each other.
He's the defendant. He's the one holding the weapon.
I know.
He can still completely eclipse. He can still eclipse her by not very much. And when they get turned around,
I don't know how tall the
she's only a couple of inches shorter than him.
Evidence.
Medical examiner said something close to 6. He was right around 6 foot even, or like 5'10".
So
he's my
he
size.
Was probably taller than the freaking defendant.
But regardless, you're 6 inches taller than me, 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
5 inches is a lot when you're talking about
and I probably have 3 or 4 inches longer in reach than you do.
Your wingspan should be about the same as your height.
But I'm just saying, like, where he'd be grabbing based off of height, you know, the end of that barrel is going to be real close.
All right, so let me ask you then. You haven't heard his entire testimony. You have not heard the reconstruction expert yet. So
No.
I'm going to...
Give me what I need.
I did it all day. In your mind, if you closed your eyes and tried to reconstruct in your mind what occurred that afternoon, what do you think happened? Because all the evidence is over. We're done. The case is done. The defense is rested. If the prosecution has any sort of rebuttal argument, it's going to be probably pretty slight because the defense didn't need much. So, with everything you have heard, what does your mind's eye say about what occurred that evening?
My mind's eye says that I think it was, and I know this isn't a legal, you know what I mean, thing, but
that's okay.
My mind and all my years of experience say this was self-defense to a point. I'm not disputing that there was a gun involved. I'm not disputing somebody died. I am disputing and would dispute the intent and the minimization of his contributory action.
Okay. I don't disagree with you.
You don't stand in a residence where you have said you are concerned because you know on the other side of that wall there are 5 propane tanks and fire a weapon, knowing it will go through a trailer wall and they will explode.
Which, thank God, they didn't.
But you see my point?
Yeah.
It is, you were in a situation that you could have, yeah, it ended up being self-defense. But it was stupidity and your own actions that led for the need to be in the position you were in.
Right,
you
so
did it.
Imperfect self-defense.
You did it to yourself. You said you'd never seen him like this. You were both agitated. You had a headache. He was not acting himself. And yet you chose to continue to engage with him after you said he was off behaviorally.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have mattered if you walked away.
Okay.
It wouldn't have mattered. You chose to engage somebody at that point. So you're contributory to it. Walk away.
So, and that is an argument legally from a civil perspective.
I'm saying, yes, you can get criminal self-defense. Like, I agree that there was self-defense involved.
No, I mean, like I said, it would be a civil defense for the estate.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do I think it was self-defense? Yeah, people had guns, people got shot, people died. But what I'm also saying is you didn't have to be in this situation. You chose to engage with him. You show me that you have the critical thinking skills of a potato.
I'm not saying he's a genius. I'm just saying I don't think he's a criminal.
See, I wouldn't go that far because, yes, again, self-defense. But you're sitting here saying he's acting off. We both have a headache. There's issue with gases. There's issues with substances. And by his behavior in that phone call with a reporter, someone likes to hear themselves talk and think they're John Badass. No, I didn't mean John because but you know what I mean. John
No, I know
Public.
That's fine.
Billy Badass, whatever you want to call him. You got a little too much testosterone and hubris over there, fucking your rocket surgeon, that you didn't walk away. And you repeatedly have testified it was self-defense, but I knew he wasn't right. I knew he was on something. I didn't feel good. I knew he had issues with alcohol and whatever. I knew this. He was agitated. And I went and did it anyways. And then you're going to sit there with all this hubris talking to a reporter. I fucked him up. You chose to engage with the man at that point. And someone lost their life. And none of it needed to happen.
I understand where you are coming from. And I think that's probably going to be the prosecution's argument. I do not think that legally rises to the level of a conviction.
And however, a wrongful death suit later, that could be a thing.
Whatever.
It could be.
But you asked me
that's what it would be.
You asked what my feeling on it is.
No,
my feeling on it
right?
is you're a dumbass.
But here's the thing. Was he a dumbass to walk into the situation in the first place?
Yes.
Sure. Let me grant you that. All right. Let's just presume that's true. Take it as granted. He was dumb to walk into that trailer in the first place. Once he gets pushed to the ground the first time and is trying to back away, tries to get back on his feet, gets pushed down again the second time, over by the bathroom, continues to try and crawl backwards. Once he gets cornered in that bedroom, pushed down again. Because I found him credible, the way that he described the story, and I think that it was consistent with the evidence that was adduced. I think that he is now cornered in this trailer, has a weapon, was maced, and started firing. Was that smart? Maybe not. Was it smart to be there in the first place? Perhaps not. But I think that the second he got pushed to the ground the first time and he was trying to retreat on multiple occasions when he did not shoot him, I think that legally the analysis is pretty much done.
And I don't know
as it
that-
relates to the self-defense question.
There's something that doesn't add up for me.
I agree with you. There is something here that is a little weird.
I am looking at this situation and saying, I don't believe either side. And yes, it is never A or B, it's generally somewhere in the middle. But I'm pretty good at my job. I'm pretty good at reading people, and you know that.
I found him credible, honestly.
I don't.
Okay. We can have different opinions.
I don't find him... I'm not saying there isn't an element of self-defense. But what I am saying is there are some of the things he said that don't make sense scientifically, they don't make sense behaviorally, and they don't fit. And the problem is,
I thought
for
that his
me,
story fit the evidence a hell of a lot better than the prosecution.
bye, Jerry.
Later,
I'll
Jerry.
catch you later. Bye, Jerry. Sorry.
See ya. I thought his story fit
And
a
bye,
lot
some
better.
old dude. I'll catch you tomorrow. I'm sorry.
No,
You
I
think
was saying is I thought his story fit a lot better with the evidence than the prosecution's theory of the case.
I
Does
don't.
the prosecution have a theory of the case?
Well,
I
there's
think-
that.
I don't recall seeing one. Lady was all over the place like Daryl Brooks.
And
That's
this,
why he told a story where the prosecution failed to through their entire case in chief.
here's my issue with this whole case. Okay. And, you know, I haven't watched the whole thing.
I have.
I know, but that's what why I prefaced this statement for you with that. I don't think he's credible, but I don't think the people have met their burden either. I think they charged this way too soon, and it was inappropriate to charge when they did, and with all of the evidentiary issues. So I wouldn't be comfortable if I was the DA or the grand jury. I'm like, no, you need to show me more and a theory of process. Like, I need you to answer these questions. Give me a better theory of what happened that fits with the evidence. Do I think he did a better case and will get off on self-defense? Yes. He's able to mitigate their arguments. But so is a 6-year-old to a point, especially with the experts they used. So it doesn't fit. And I don't find either of them particularly credible. And some aspect of why it doesn't fit, I can't put my finger on yet. And maybe I will after I watch more tomorrow, because depending on if it only takes an hour or so, whatever, I'll probably, while you guys are doing verdict watch time, you know, I'll come react to the rest of today's. But, you know, maybe after I see that or listen to closing, I will, you know what I mean? That missing piece.
So I'm operating a little bit with the benefit of having seen the entire day. So if you didn't see,
I intentionally didn't watch any of it, so I'll see that later.
If you didn't see the reconstruction expert, I thought he did a very good job kind of piecing everything together.
But like I said,
And
I'll
that was
see.
it. That was their last expert, and they were done with that. It was pretty straightforward, and he kind of put the story together based upon the evidence that was already in place.
Right, and I mean, I
And I
will.
thought he did a decent job of that.
I will see it, and I'll be able to answer that more. But at
Yeah.
this point, like where I stand exactly at this second with everything I've seen, it was inappropriate to charge him.
I agree with you. I think that it never should have been charged in the first instance.
We shouldn't be here because there's too many evidentiary issues to charge this like reckless. To me, this is reckless to charge him like this. Or unprofessional or whatever you want to call it.
But yeah, I would think that there is an ethical question in terms of that charging. Fine. All right. I think
Yeah, I'm heading out. What time are we going tomorrow morning?
I think 11 in my time, which I think
Okay.
we're in
We're in the
Pennsylvania,
same.
right? Yeah. So I think 11 my time. I'll set it up at some point early in the morning. I'm not doing that tonight. I wanted to hop on because I had a little bit of I saw you were on, and I said I would drop by.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed and then I'll jump on tomorrow and pop in.
Michael, it's not prosecutorial misconduct. I don't think it rises to that point. I don't think it was appropriate to charge him, but that's a really high bar.
So, okay. Well, everybody sleep well, by Syndicate Leaner. To all my lovelies, all my beasties, do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, share, head over to John's channel. I'm going to pop in for close, and then while they're on verdict watch, we'll finish our analysis. I hope you all enjoyed them breaking my brain.
You're gonna like their expert. He was really good.
Okay.
I hope.
Yes, folks. If you haven't yet voted, go do that tomorrow.
I already voted, so I'm done with my civic duties.
So did I, but Washington's really freaking strange. We're almost 100% vote by mail, and have been for more than a decade.
I hate that. We've literally destroyed the idea of voting day.
Ardo,
that's just my personal opinion.
Bye, my lovely, my Ardo. I'll see you.
All right, guys. I'm gonna pop out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Everyone, subscribe to John and catch me there tomorrow. One last question, or later today. Bye, John.
See ya.
Yeah, later today. Yeah, Michael, there's something wrong with this. It doesn't sit right with me. Croco, your thought? Are you on my page?
Yeah, I'm about halfway between you and John. On one hand, this guy stayed cool on the stand and managed to get through this lady.
He fucking lied.
She's all over the place. But no, something didn't add up this morning when I saw this bit, and it's only worse now.
Even less is lining up for me now. Something is off. And the fact that, I understand what John's argument is, and they're like, okay, the metabolite was there of cocaine or whatever. Yeah, Michael, I'm kind of in line to that because in all honesty, and if I just go off of 16 years of experience, and I will say to everybody, you have to remember when they would call me in, okay? It wasn't just because I am their medical support. It isn't just because of my precision shooting ability. I am very good at, and Croco knows this, I can pick things out of people. And I mean, you guys all saw when I ripped apart the evidence expert. There are too many inconsistencies between behavior, the science, and what concrete evidence there is for me to say the defense's evidence fits the reconstruction. There are too many scientific things that I can poke holes in. There is too much wiggle room with some of it, and you will never be able to retest or re-examine the evidence because of destruction of the scene and the evidence. So there's something very off about this. And literally, in the 16 years, the majority of the time they had a situation that needed de-escalation, that it wasn't working with the police negotiator. They would call me in because, as much as I don't like to say, well, I'm a girl, a lot of men feel less threatened talking to me. Especially ones like this Cummings dude that have all the bravado in the world. They think I'm stupid and don't know what I'm doing. And will change their tone real quick talking to a female. And generally that is enough distraction to talk somebody who's either having emotional or is under the influence of something down. The school stabbing I worked, we were able to perp walk him out in cuffs without further issue because he was okay talking to me as a female, whereas talking to the other tactical officers on scene that were men, he felt he had to man up. But I was enough of a, could turn the girl voice on and say, honey, I believe you. Honey, I believe that you're being bullied. And put him on his heels enough that people could get behind him and cuff him. Because generally people that are this stupid cannot tell you're manipulating them. And if it's my job to de-escalate a situation, I can put the nice voice on and, you know, the mom voice and calm people down.
It'd be nice if any of these people were likable.
I think he's
nobody
gonna
here is
get.
likable.
I think he's going to get not guilty self-defense, but I don't think it's justified. I think the prosecution's screw-ups are the only thing that's getting him it. Croco, what do you think?
Yeah, the prosecution is like I said earlier. The prosecution's been all over the place, and don't get me started on the crime scene. I still need to get that crime scene manual from you.
Yeah, I know I have to get one, but I'm just saying, you know, how many holes, like Michael, how many holes, Ordo, yeah, anyone that's TV, anyone that's watched, how many holes did I poke into the prosecution and the evidence? That ship was holding nothing.
It's the ship of Theseus without the patches.
You know what I mean? If I can do that to the evidence sitting here, let alone if you had given me all of this when I've been hired to go to court as an expert. I'm getting every piece of evidence thrown out. People forget the amount of heat the fingerprints are seared onto the barrel. You fume it with super glue or cyanoacrylate, you can essentially fix the fingerprint, and then you can lift the prints with cyanoacrylate. So it should be easy for you to tell if he grabbed the barrel. Because it would be the opposite direction from when he was working on it. He's saying you worked on the scope earlier. But they would be backwards. When you do scope work, you're not doing it with the gun pointed at your face.
I still want to know how that scope ring got there.
But you see what I'm saying?
Or where it came from.
Right. Explain to me how you have casings in places it's impossible to be. Explain to me how you can't sit up on a lower bunk, but you didn't know there was a rifle between the mattress that you would have had to sit on to put your shoes on?
Actually, the if I remember correctly, it was the other bed in the room, not the bunk beds, but the other bed, the one that was up against the back wall.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is he can't sit upright on the bunk bed. Think about the rack on a ship or your racks in basic.
Yeah, you have to bend over to put your boots on.
So most likely, if there's another bed that's a single right there, you're not going to sit there to put your shoes on? You're going to sit on your bottom rack instead of the bed 6 inches away that you don't have to bend, that you don't have to duck? No, you're going to sit on that bed to tie your shoes, or at least once, or even that other bed. It's a thin enough mattress. You're going to see a giant bump where that rifle was between the box spring and the mattress. You're not telling me you didn't know something was there.
Also, whose rifle was that? Was that his rifle?
Who's got the wrong rounds in a rifle? If that's your rifle, you don't load the wrong round into the magazine backwards.
Backwards. Yeah, I'm looking at that going, wait a second. That does not look right. Not only that, it didn't fit in the magazine.
And I looked at the, after the fact, I was able to find a few, like looking at the pictures. Guy has no scope ring mark on his face, but he has what's called dependent lividity. So when someone dies and the blood settles, you get lividity based on the position. If that scope ring had been under his face the entire time, you would have had dark purple lividity pooling all around it. And more at the chin and mouth. Because it's holding the head up at an angle. He has no marks or lividity from that.
Never mind, the damn thing was under his ear. What should have been his ear.
Show me the lividity.
Well, I can't show it to you.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
There is something very wrong. Nobody's telling the truth.
Well,
we know you staged the crime. We know you staged the crime scene because you took these crime scene photos and are claiming he is holding a can of pepper spray that has a physical safety on it that you need to push to the side like with a lighter and flip up and stick your thumb in to depress the trigger. He's got it pointed at his own face. There's no way you can disengage it. There are no drips. There's no dye. Even if you wash your hands, the dye in those stains. You don't. There's too many inconsistencies. And
all right.
You're fine. And I mean, like, I get John's legal argument. That's not the law, and I trust this that that whatever the person seemed credible. I literally discounted every single piece of evidence up until now. I've been able to prove that not a single piece of evidence should have lined up. How did you not check for gases? How do you go right from point A to its polysubstance? When you hear hoof prints, don't look for the zebra. Even he said it seemed neurological and he had a headache from the gas.
It's amazing what you can catch on a second view that you didn't catch the first time.
Oh, you listened to it earlier?
Huh? Yeah, I saw it earlier.
But you
I
didn't
saw,
catch
I saw part of
the
it.
gas?
I saw that last chunk. I didn't see the first part. I was up a hair later than that.
Yeah.
Because East Coast people. But no, I saw a good chunk of his testimony. I'm thinking, prosecutor stupid. Dad, she's picking on me, and this guy's just sitting there, completely calm. And then Mike's commentary is pushing the direction. Yeah, this guy looks good.
The blue suit is hideous, and anybody that was like, I'm not fat shaming her or I am with the deputy. You look sloppy, and that is my pet peeve. You are in uniform. Conduct yourself accordingly and as a professional.
I don't know of anything that was professional in this courtroom, if I'm going to be completely
Well, someone
honest.
sent me a message that said, like, you fat shamed him. It looked like a bag of ass.
Call it the way you see it.
Sorry.
The guy is over 200 kilos.
But you see my point. Conduct yourself with the decorum that you should. You make us look bad.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question, Michael. I doubt it, given the circumstances.
He has not. His behavior has been in line with the hubris you heard in the call, which suggests to me that he has personality trait issues, just like Amber heard. Kyle Rittenhouse had emotion. I have never had a self-defense shooting where the person that was forced to take a life in genuine self-defense did not need to be sedated on scene. Every one of them has needed sedation on scene because they were hysterical, even though they were right and it was true self-defense. They freaked out that they took a life. If you can sit there and act like that talking to a reporter with that amount of hubris and obnoxiousness, that tells me all I need to know about you. I'm not saying I'm an angel by any means, but I've never been involved where weapons had to be fired or I had to intervene where I was not at least somewhat upset. Can I hold it together? Yeah. But later, am I going to be upset? Yeah, because a life is a life. Regardless. That's somebody's kid.
Somebody's kid, somebody's brother, sister, aunt, uncle.
No matter what they did.
Potentially.
no matter what they've done, it's not, even if it's a clean shoot, I don't feel good. I'm not happy. You know, he's pathological.
He's a monster, is what he is. I used to see people
And
like
Michael's
that.
right. Every
that out
case you've
in the field
seen, they
and just-
second guess if it's clean. Rittenhouse even second guessed himself and tried to give himself up on scene. Arrest me, I just shot someone. You know? I don't know. My people are still here.
Thank you for reminding me what it was about this guy. It was just rubbing me the wrong way.
What?
I've seen people like him out there in the mud and the trees and the rock, and just
it's the hubris.
Occasionally you find the one guy that just doesn't care. He's just had to shoot somebody dead, and he doesn't give a shit. It's like, hey, where's the next one? It's like, dude, 2 seconds, come on. I mean, admittedly, if they've ambushed you, yeah, they probably had to go, but that's not. But you don't just look over the battlefield and go looking for the next one.
He's got a little too much hubris.
A little?
Given the situation.
A little. Isn't that kind of like being a little bit pregnant?
Yeah, Michael, and you're right. Yeah, and he's like, hell yeah, I still want the property. That's your concern? And, you know, I've seen several people are like, well, he's fighting for his freedom in court. No, he had the right to walk away. He turned a situation that he could have walked away from easily into the situation where guns got pulled. Yeah, he still wants the property, Randy.
And here's another one for you. Maybe I just kind of I don't know what the hell was going on with the real estate agent. He wants his lawyer to have a look at it, and it's like, okay, that should be a thing. That should always be a thing. She's saying she's going to lose her realtor's license for it. After pushing him to sign a contract, he doesn't understand. That's what got me initially in his story. How does that even happen? You have the right to an attorney, whether you in both contracts and criminal situations. This should be a thing.
I mean, Argo, I'm not saying that Rittenhouse had reason not to have reason or whatever. I'm simply saying at least he had emotion over what he did. This guy shows no emotion or caring that he took a life.
But yeah, the defense, I'm guessing the defense put him on the stand after what happened with Rittenhouse. Hey, look, we can make this guy look human.
I'd have destroyed him. Something is not aligning well enough for me.
Unfortunately, we have the blue potato sack over here on as the prosecutor as opposed to you.
This is why I couldn't do law school. Like I've
seen, if you ask Robert Barnes, he'll tell you that that there would be no DA's office in the country that would take you. Why?
Me?
Because you're too intelligent.
Yeah.
And then I know I'm going to sound horrible for this. What does that say about Emily?
I mean, Emily's very left-leaning.
She is.
You know, and I don't agree with most of them in either direction. But what I can say, and what I will say is right before I sign off, you know, there's 12 of you here, and I appreciate every one of you for the 3 hours you've put up with me and rebooting myself at least fucking 8 times.
And Michael, can I interject here just for a moment on something Michael just said?
What? he didn't bring it into Wisconsin. It was already there.
Yeah, it was already in Wisconsin. He took it. I believe he took it with him when he left, but it never. But once it crossed state lines going the other way, it came back in possession of the police. It was shipped back.
Yeah, but it had been stored in the state. But regardless, this isn't about Rittenhouse. Some people know, some people don't know. My grandmother was an Auschwitz survivor who had the tattoo on her arm. And somebody asked her one day after an altercation in public where a neo-Nazi skinhead group had seen her arm and got up in her face trying to pick a fight with a 90-year-old woman. And someone asked her if she hated Nazis. And my grandmother looked at them and said, no, because hate only corrodes the vessel you hold it within. It has no effect on the other person. You are letting them live rent-free in your head. The only person you're harming is yourself. I do not hate them. I hate their actions. And I feel sorry for them. That these kids, and she said these children, are sheep that would have been led to slaughter by the real Nazis. And if she can have empathy and compassion for situations like that, then I don't think anybody should be able to have zero empathy and compassion. And this man shows that. My grandmother would never be able to show this level of callous disregard for a life. And if anybody has ever had a right to hate a group of people or a person after what they have done to her or to him or to whoever, it would be her. And even she said, you have to feel bad for them because someone didn't raise them right or they're mentally ill. That if you can have this level of hatred for somebody and let it corrode you and sit there on the stand and have zero emotion, compassion, or empathy that somebody lost their life, there is something deeply wrong with you. That always taught me everything I needed to know. That always informed and governed my behaviors on scenes. I don't know. Croco?
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. I don't get this guy.
But you see my point? You and my
No, I
grandmother
saw
would
it.
be the only person, like, if you would ever find a more justified situation, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To hate somebody or to not have empathy for somebody, it would be someone that has lived through what she had. You know? And even then, she still said, you know, they are a person. Somebody has hurt them dearly. They're still someone's child. There are still people that love them.
They even had their own hopes, dreams, and ambitions. That's all over. Their body of experience and the chances they could have actually done something else with the rest of their life. I mean, yeah, a guy was probably an ass, but you know what?
His family, and if he had children, like, they don't deserve to have to live through all of that and deal with it. And Ardo, I mean, it has nothing to do with believing in a divinity. It's, I mean, you know, I'm not a religious person in any way. But I don't think it's a question of divinity. I think it's a question of human decency and the value of a life.
Too many people these days lack the first and don't understand the second.
You know, I can tell you she was subjected to, you know, things that no one should ever be. And she didn't hate anybody. You know, when people say, how could you treat that person, that patient? Because I might not like what you did, but that doesn't change. I might not like you, but that doesn't change. That doesn't change that if I don't do my job, your mother's going to have to bury you. And nobody deserves that. You know? So when you're sitting up there with no fucks to give, wrestling around on the floor, if you're so worried your life is over that you shot someone in self-defense, you're up there in tears and second guessing a clean shoot. Not this hubris and not this macho attitude. Everybody would have emotion. If you can't get that together, that tells me you're pathological. There's too much that doesn't add up. I think we all have that same feeling of like, there's something wrong with this. Too much doesn't make sense. And I get John and a lot of the other lawyers think it does, but it doesn't scientifically. They're all going off their gut feeling. All of them.
Well, it probably would be. It would probably help if the crime scene investigators hadn't botched everything, and then the prosecutor running around trying to throw the case.
I think it's a combination of that, but I think it's a combination with a lot of the lawyers that they're. Yeah, I mean, Michael, I agree with you. He's going to be found in, you know, I don't think he's going to be found guilty. I think he'll get his self-defense, but I don't think he's not guilty. I think he escalated the situation himself, and it became a fuck around and find out. Croco?
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. Fuck around and find out is pretty much what happened here. The problem, of course, is that both of them were fucking around, and the one that found out is the one that wound up lying on his face in a pool of his own blood.
Right, but I'm just saying. I mean, there's too many lawyers like, oh, it was self-defense. He tried to. You can't go from being the primary aggressor and then like, well, I had to defend myself. You put yourself in that position.
Well, and it gets worse. They're looking at it from strictly the law. I doubt strongly that a lot of these people have ever seen a reason to use a firearm in any way, shape, or form, or had to kill someone.
It's not even that. None of them. John Southern. Well, I didn't realize. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess all of your. Yeah, I guess that is strange that all of those line up with what would happen with gas exposure.
Mm-hmm. They don't think about this. They don't think about the small details.
You know, they're like, well, I'm looking at it from all of the, happy Veterans Day in advance, Michael, in case I forget to tell you in a couple days. I will try to remember to make sure to thank you and my Croco both.
That's okay. You'll remember, I'm sure.
I will try.
Probably during Wednesday morning's live stream.
Some old dude, yeah. And they're like, well, you're too caught up in the science and not the theory of the case.
But the science of what the case should be based on was
that's
what
the only thing that you should be looking at this point. If you're going into it with the theory of your case, then you are viewing it skewed.
Then your theory is wrong. Because it can't.
That's why I didn't watch the other stuff. Yes, Michael. But I mean, you heard him. I sit there and can discount all of the evidence and chalk things up, and they're like, "But the law, that doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean that that's what happened just because the prosecution sucked at their job."
Okay, Michael, I don't know if you were enlisted or an officer, but when they sent me to go to go forth and be an asshole at other people, the general rule to remember was they call us when the diplomats and the politicians fuck up. We are the escalation. We are the tool that advances policy. They're not sending their kids. They're sending me. They're sending my kids. They're sending you.
I wasn't allowed to be in the service.
But then if you had been allowed, then it sent you too.
Did I tell you I wasn't allowed?
Yeah, you told me you told me about your
my dad.
About your application to Service Academy.
Yeah.
And why they said no.
Great. For those, the laws are what we have right now. We can change laws, become more knowledgeable. That's true, some old dude. But here's the thing: the law, as we have right now, isn't totally being applied because they charged this well before they should have, and with the inappropriate handling of evidence. So I don't think the law and the tool we have is being used appropriately here.
Even then, the changing of any of law in general takes forever. Don't necessarily have time to catch up.
But so for those of you who don't know, I'm a child of a nuclear engineer. Yeah, and some old dudes are right. When you have all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Amongst other potential issues.
What?
Amongst other potential issues. The right tool for the right job. And the state of New Mexico at this point is completely fucked that ball sideways.
Mm-hmm. But my dad designed the reactors on the ships.
Don't piss that guy off. I promise you, you'll hate yourself for years.
My dad.
I will look him up.
You what? Oh, you looked my dad up?
Oh yeah, I went and looked him up. You gave me his name, and I gotta check this.
You found Leslie?
Oh yes.
The man that wrote the textbook for nuke school. I love Dad. Yeah, so my dad, is a nuclear engineer, and he put the stuff, the Enterprise and everything into commission. And I tried to go to the Naval Academy, and I made it to my board interview. Good night, Cookie. I'm going to bed in a minute. And when I got to the interview, they were like, "Hey, is this person is Leslie your dad?" Mm-hmm. Get out.
Get the fuck out. Just go away.
Night TV, I'm going to bed in a minute. But I don't feel like bye. No security risk. Thanks.
I won't describe how it is I wound up at OCS. I'm just not going to do that.
I was all about it. I'm just saying, they were like, no. We know where you came from. We know what your mindset is, and we know what you.
I'm pretty sure you read the story about that. So.
What? You?
How I wound up on battlefields rather than on a ship where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I told you that story.
Yeah, you told me. But I'm just saying, they were like, yeah, no, what we're not going to do is let her mutiny a ship by herself because she's bored tomorrow. We can't guarantee that, so you're good.
Yeah, staging a one woman mutiny. I have control of the power now.
Yeah, my dad said something about that they weren't going to let a woman with PMS take over the Navy or something.
We had back in the 90s, we had female nukes go through, but I wasn't one of them. I decided I didn't want that job. And
no, they just meant that I wouldn't have to even have the job because I would have the compartmentalized knowledge.
Yes.
So, but good night, all my loves. Good night, my beasties. I will catch you guys in a few hours. Thanks for being here. You guys are all great. Love my beasties. Good night, guys.
Catch you later, folks.